Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 53 of the Hall of Gamers podcast. This week, I'm joined by our producer, Cameron.
Hey.
Our guest wrangler, Charlotte.
Hello.
And our special guest returning, Mr. Welsh Hunter himself.
Woo!
Woohoo!
I'm back. I'm here to stay.
Yeah, we couldn't find any other guide creators, so we figured we'd just get him back again. We were just like,
No.
Macca was like, what? A podcast?
We
What?
picked the best guide hunter.
Okay, for transparency, I've tried to get Macca on before.
No, you haven't. What are you talking about? And then Cheetah doesn't return our emails either, so I was like, oh yeah, we'll just get.
No one bloody tries, eh?
Yeah, exactly.
We should just get him on and just have like a big battle royale of them, you know?
I don't know if that would go well for us, to be honest. I feel like the kind of thing is that like it's.
Can I just not be on that week?
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's going to go really poorly for me if
I think it'll go really
happens.
Poorly for everyone, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, this week we're going to talk about the ongoing Call of Duty controversy. We're going to talk about how the Callisto Protocol, Cameron's favorite, most anticipated game, is apparently being run by an absolute capitalist, fucking pig who wants to crush people into the ground.
It's funny how one tweet can make me do an entire 180.
It's right.
Yeah,
fuck's sake.
Funny that.
We're going to talk about how I'm going to have to throw up the crow that I ate last week about Atomic Heart being not being delayed and actually coming out this year because it's not. And then we'll talk a bit about Cyberpunk because it's in the news again. But first, as always, you can come see us live on Twitch, Hall Gamers Pod. We've got people in the chat. Mr. David is in the chat already, coming and saying hi and ship posting. So come hang out with us. We greatly appreciate it. You can throw us a subscription. Maybe just give us a bit of cash.
You know what's funny? When I went back to the last podcast that Welsh was on, I listened to the first 10 minutes, and it was just us chilling the entire time.
Yeah, no shit. No, if
we've come so far.
Oh well, yeah, we're exactly.
We try.
Everything's a perfect circle. Come say hi in the chat. But as always, we're going to transition to a song of the week that I was sent in by one of our listeners, the lyrics at least. So thank you very much for Bulbasaur for putting this together. Take it away, Cameron. I've finally triumphed. I completed a game with huge success. Even though you're the last of the session at Hall of Gamers, we do all the boosting 'cause we can. For all the gamers score, except the ones that are dead. And you're all still crying at this great landscape. You've had kept on trying past each big break. And the game is done, and you've had some fun with the people who are still online.
All right, cool. Now you said to us before the podcast that we would get a hint, and the hint was it's part of the video game collection. Correct?
We also got a secondary hint in that, but that hint was specifically for me that Dio had played this recently, and I was like, fuck. I should know this. I should know what my boyfriend has fucking played recently.
So we deducted that it was a 2007 game.
Yeah,
because they just were not. They weren't getting anywhere, so I had to keep giving hints. It was like the word challenge all over again.
Well, okay, but it doesn't help that I have never played this.
It doesn't help, yes, but
I played this for all 5 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Welsh, do you know what it is by any chance?
I got something on the tip of my tongue, but so basically no.
Fair. Okay, but thankfully,
David in chat
from our community has very much figured it out. It is Still Alive from Portal, the credit song.
I was going to ask, is it the credit song for Portal? But I was kind of like, I could just feign ignorance and be like, I don't know this because I don't want to make myself look like an idiot. But I
was going to say that. But it was...
See, I would not have guessed that. I just remember that he was playing Half-Life as part of the Orange Box, and that's all I remember, so...
Yeah, no offense to Matt singing, but I don't think Matt singing matches that song.
I mean, to be fair...
I can't see the stretch, whereas in other songs I can.
To be fair, I'm also not a robot, which also makes that quite difficult. I don't have GLaDOS's wonderful voice, unfortunately.
You're not a robot. Your gamer score, your lack of sleep, all these other clues that we have beg to differ.
Okay, look, I'm at least mostly organic. Just not.
He's just a cyborg, is what.
Yeah,
he
sure,
is.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
David said I did well. Thank you very much, David.
Yeah.
So thank you to
I think you did
Bulbasaur.
well. I just didn't know what the fuck it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you to Bulbasaur for sending in those lyrics. Greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Bulbasaur.
Thank you,
Good job
Bulbasaur.
on that one.
And if anyone else has ideas for songs or lyrics or anything like that, make sure you shoot them my way. And I'll put them on the list and see if I can make them work.
You can even do them if you think they would work for me, or you wanted to see even Cameron do one.
No,
No. Just too much work.
I
Get
think we
fucked.
vetoed Cameron ever doing songs again.
Yeah, after Baby Shark,
actually,
I think we were like, no, we're good.
Going back to Welsh Hunter's last episode as well,
Mm-hmm.
I actually sang that song of the week.
You did, yes, you did.
You did.
That was very good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
So,
That's true.
It wasn't too bad.
Thanks for that.
That's it.
Welsh.
Catches.
Yeah. short
That's
episode.
fine.
Easy.
Me, Matt, and Welsh can do this. We're fine.
Easy. The transitions won't work, but that's fine. All right.
We'll
well,
just end.
I suppose we'll get into a little bit of an interview, Mr. Hunter.
Yeah.
And we've talked to you before, of course. So you're not new to the show, but we're for people who are listening. Cameron's put in a question here. Rank the following and explain why. Macca, Chivo Guides, Cheetah Zooey, Achievement Land, Achievement Squad.
I can never pronounce it right.
Knof.
How many did you list, right?
I listed
Way too many.
I listed 8.
That's
Oh my
way-
God.
Cause controversy, bro.
Yeah.
we're just
I think we're just gonna skip. I think that they're all
No,
number one,
because
right?
they're all
Right,
going to
Welsh?
listen to this. Every single one of those guide makers are going to listen to this episode.
Yeah, so Welsh, you can just put
Exactly.
your hand in front of your mouth, and I'll just edit in whatever you want me to say, depending on
Yeah.
what Depend with
They're
the
all
checklist.
shite apart from Achievement Squad. They're
Oh,
all
there you go.
fucking-
Nailed it. Yeah, nailed
They're
it.
all-
Yeah, cool. Okay, so Macca. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I
But
heard
yes,
it.
well, number one.
No, I was going to start off with this
No,
question
no.
first, but I'm actually curious, especially with the two, I guess, well-known PlayStation ones.
Okay.
Like, I thought 8 would be a bit, and I was kind of like torn between Carnage, because Carnage is a good friend of
Carnage
ours.
is great too.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
lovely.
these are all these are all people.
They are all people. Yes.
Are they?
Well, I mean, allegedly. To be fair, like again, we've only had Welsh on the show, so like he's the only one I can confirm.
He's the only one that would
But,
put up with
but
us.
like,
So-
look, we need to poke the bear. We need
I don't know if we need to poke the bear and do.
No,
another
we do not.
Start a fucking.
We are
list.
already getting cancelled. We don't need to be cancelled more.
So I guess
Okay.
the first actual question there is, how do you
Well.
decide on what your upcoming guides are there, Welsh, in terms of like, hey, you got a list of stuff that you're looking at. You're like, oh, hey, I'm going to do a guide on this. I want to do a guide on this.
Yeah, man. Well, the thing is, you've got with the baby games, everyone does the baby games, don't they? Everyone does the 10-minute guide. So I just stick with the Game Pass guides, specifically more or less Game Pass. But Christ, like Tinykin blew my little brain cell off. Jesus Christ! And Cam, you missed that one bit of pollen. I just
Yeah, so
didn't it?
it's funny with it because I was like hunting around like a madman, thinking like everything in that game's like in clusters of like 12 to 20 pollen. I've missed one. How the fuck have I missed one? And then going throughout the whole bathtub laundry level, and then finally finding it on the top of the detergent, liquid
The
detergent.
soap bottle. Yeah.
In between.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just like, you fuckers.
I was lucky. I glanced at one out of the corner of my eye. I was like, oh, that would have been easy to miss. And
Yeah.
it turns out I was right.
Because the great thing is too, like there have been a few guides out for Tinykin now. I think when did yours come out, Welsh? It was within the last week, yeah?
Only a couple of days
Yeah,
ago.
only
Yeah.
a couple of days ago.
I think I had just been the day before your guide had come out. And I think I might have been using... I can't remember. Somebody did a playthrough video, but they had everything cut.
Is this Stanton?
Yeah.
Stanton Damien, I think.
Yeah. Because they had most hidden pollen or something as a timestamp. And I was using that for all of them. And then just this one fucking pollen was causing me so much trouble because everybody else would have found it. But yeah.
That stressed me out. Any other guides is normally not too bad, but that stressed me the fuck out. Trying to put everything in like a nice smooth transition, and I still ended up missing some shit. So I was editing other shit, and people are going, "You've only got 14 there," and I was like, "Oh, sorry."
I mean, the game's a collectathon, right? We'll talk about it and what we've been playing because I finished it as well, and I've got some thoughts.
Game of the year.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. Yeah, I mean, in terms of, how do you feel about like the term influencer? I guess is kind of one of those other things that I mean, you know, you're a guide personality.
Okay. I worded these questions awfully.
You did, yes.
So yeah, and Matt hasn't read them beforehand, so that's fine. Pretty much with it, I'm just basing this off like, if you come to think about it, the amount of like guides you make. Especially with people like me, I'll actually go to the guide creators and see what people are uploading to get an idea of what to play sometimes.
Yeah.
So technically, you're influencing my decision with that.
Yeah.
Does that...
like, say, I don't want to sit there and put out games that cost a $5. Like, you know all that PlayStation shit? And they got the jumping bean. And you can get 27 platinums in about fucking 2 minutes, and I don't want to be doing that. That doesn't satisfy me much. Stressing, losing my hair about putting good guides out. Now that's what I'd rather put out. And to be called an influencer like that, that's nice. Instead of whapping your baps out, going on holiday to fucking Dubai, and going, "Oh, I'm an Instagram influencer." Just seeing nipples in every video, which I'm not complaining. That's just an observation. That's not a complaint. But I don't mind being called an influencer.
Yeah, you haven't been barking up the right trees with certain brands.
I know.
You're doing it all wrong, mate.
I know. I'm gonna have to. Well, I said
you need that hot tub stream. That hot tub stream.
I said that one stream that I've done.
Yeah.
It was me and Hippie Shade talking, and we said, right, we're gonna get. I'm gonna get myself a blonde wig, hot tub.
Yeah.
I don't need an ass. I've got an ass. I've got a squatter's ass, so I'm all right with it. So Charlotte, I already told you this, didn't I? So I'm gonna hot tub stream it. I'm gonna get the money in without being an OnlyFans, which is impressive for a blonde-headed wonder such as myself. Huh?
How it works.
Cameron, do you want to run through the rest of the questions then?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so with that level, I guess with that, have you had like many people in the community like come out and say like, "Oh, you know, I'm struggling with this. Do you plan on making a guide for this like certain game?"
Yeah, quite a few, especially on Patreon. Now somebody comes out and says, "Can you make a guide for this? Can you make a guide for that?" I tend to sort of keep them as priority and this baffles me. People give me money to make guides and shit, and that still fucking baffles me. Like, you know, Mike, whose Xbox name I won't pronounce, TS Chan, CS Spange, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm about, but I can't pronounce it at all. But yeah, he's like, to be fair, they paid a lot of them pay me some good money, and I think all I do is sit my ass and talk shit, which I'm happy with that. It doesn't differ from my everyday life, to be fair. So, but yeah, so I tend to sort of, if somebody does say, "Can you make a guide?" I will try and get around to making a guide, but there's so many games out.
Yeah.
I had 2 for I Am Dead, and I think it was Outer Wilds, but I know Outer Wilds takes a while, I think, doesn't
It's
it?
like 40?
It's a big one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's having to play through the game, then play through it again, and then play through it a third time to record. I'm getting too old. I'm getting too old to sit in my ass and play games now. I don't know what to do.
It's a hard knock life, eh?
It is. You're telling me. I'm telling me, man. It's like, I don't know if I can do it anymore. I might have to go and work in factories for 10 hours again. You know?
Oh my god.
Like that. Yeah.
I'm not sure if we asked it last time, but have there been like any games that you've done recently that like you kind of got to the halfway point and you're just like, nah, this isn't, you know, whether it be like audience isn't going to enjoy this or it's not living up to my high expectations of content.
Yeah. There was one. I'll have a look now because I can't even. Give a sec. Sorry, guys. I don't wanna...
Yeah, all good.
Come on. No. What was it? Yeah, there's been a couple lately, to be honest, where I've bloody can't remember now. I can't fucking signal shit in here. But yeah, there's been a couple, and I've just sort of I get through it. I wasn't going to do it for Tinykin, to be honest, because I got through about an hour or two in, and I thought, I'm just shite. I just ain't doing this. People are not going to like this at all. And then I sort of I thought I'll do it anyway because it's, you know, they're the ones that primarily get me views on YouTube. It's like Game Pass guys.
Yeah.
I ended up enjoying it in the end. But yeah, there's been a couple where I've just been super pissed off. I used to be very, very anal about, you know, the Trilogy, like completion percentages and stuff. Like if I have to start a game, I have to finish it. I don't got time for that now. Between two kids killing me off, killing my brain cells, and making guides for but
you think about it though. You're creating the next generation of guide makers.
True that.
Free labor.
Welsh Hunter presents.
How to
The
train
Welsh
your
Hunters.
kids.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm creating. I ain't creating anymore.
Yeah.
But that too is, as you well know, Cam.
I've still got plans for a second, but it's going to be a few years yet.
Yeah, just enjoy what you've got and enjoy your hair and.
Just wait till it's gone.
Oh dear, I don't even want to.
I did actually start noticing that my dad started losing his hair. Like I've seen the pictures of me as a child, and you know he had some hair, and then I look at him now, I'm like, wow, you lost that hair really quickly after I was born. That's interesting correlation there.
I wonder how you were as a kid then, Matt.
Yeah. Well, I think it was actually more my brother, to be honest. Actually, I was a great child. My brother's an absolute fucking nightmare.
See, I've got what is it called, alopecia, where the hair hasn't grown there.
That's a little.
So
different,
like, I want to just try and keep the hair I have.
Just here, yeah, exactly. Hold on to it.
To be fair.
Yeah.
You don't want to look like Jada Pinkett Smith to get the bucket of the jokes from the Oscars.
Yeah, you don't want that to happen.
I'm sorry, Cam. I'm sorry. No.
Don't slap him, Cameron.
You're more attractive than Jada Pinkett Smith, anyway. So
Well,
I have no idea what we're talking on right now.
Did you miss? Oh, okay. Don't worry. about it.
Cameron doesn't follow popular culture. Don't worry about it.
It's
Oh,
popular
okay.
culture. It's too out of there for him.
100%. What was the other thing I was going to say? Any games like coming out of the next year that you like really like? This is the thing I've wondered too. Like, I would say that most of your content for me, from like just a straight up glance, is your typically easier Game Pass games. Yeah, mostly accessible to a lot more people. You know, at the most like to 10 to 15 hours.
Yeah,
and even that's like pushing it. Yeah. Have you, other than Outer Wilds, have you ever? Outer Wilds or Outer Worlds? Did you say?
Outer Wilds?
Outer Wilds, yeah.
Outer Wilds coming out.
Wilds, not worlds.
Yeah, so has there been any that you have been like, you know, like, oh, Stalker 2's coming out, it's going to be like a 50-hour completion. Like, is there any like big games that you've been interested in tackling? Or?
Well, when games like that come out, I always think, is it worth just doing separate guides? Or is it worth doing a full guide? And the problem is, well, it's not a problem, but a load of people still smash out. Oh, you can get a bunch of easy achievements on this game, but they tend to sort of miss out the hard stuff. Yeah, but it's really, like I said, you think I'd be able to have a lot more time to do this, but because of the kids, etc., I don't get at the minute as much time as I'd want to smash out 40, 50-hour games, which is kind of annoying. But the boy is now. He's 9 months. He's 9 months old now, so he's starting again. where I know he's a hairy little bastard, which you don't hear from me. But I don't know where he gets that from.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, no, definitely things like Stalker and things that in the next year I want to start doing more of, because I like doing the 100% guides. I know it's not for everyone, but I much prefer to do 100% guides and then chill out for a week and go in hibernation, because it's probably pissed me off that much. But you know, things like High on Life. I'm looking for the High on Life. I can't wait.
It looks funny. I liked the humor that came in.
I do, yeah, exactly. And that's my kind of game, because I'm just a fucking douche nozzle, and I as well. So it's gonna work. It's gonna work. But yeah, no, definitely. I want to definitely start doing more. And again, it depends on, because I've still got the sort of half and half job, as in it's sort of half YouTubing, half delivery driving. If somehow now I start getting, you know, hundreds of thousands of views and I start getting a bit more money in, and I can put more effort and time into it, then I'll smash it out more. But yeah, that for now. But now it's 10 to 15 hours. Still more than most people do.
And you still need to have, you know, some time to actually enjoy games that you don't make guides for as well, right? At some stage.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Occasionally, just be like, oh, actually, I'm just going to play a video game. What a fucking novel concept.
Yeah. Wow, video games. I forgot you don't have to stress out after every single fucking one.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, that's why I've started streaming properly now. Because I've just started Saints Row. Love Saints Row, even though it's full of woke bullshit, apparently. According to all the critics.
This is the thing with Saints Row. Like, everybody that I see on Twitter loves it. But I guess loves it just strictly for the gameplay. Which I can see, but like the story just...
I mean, yeah, the story's just...
Story's not for me.
No.
But like you like for me, I play Saints Row because of the game style. Like, I love all of that. Like that is
I love blowing shit up, and I mean, it's no Saints Row 4 space dildos and stuff, but you know, no, it's enjoyable. But it's all on Facebook. See, like True Achievements Facebook is just full of people who want to be pissed off and offended about fucking everything.
Yeah.
I don't know what's woke bullshit about it. I don't even know if the gammons know what woke means anymore. They said it's fucking
to be honest, I think it's just mostly people being trolls. Like, it seems ridiculous that people like, because I haven't seen any of this stuff. So all that like Red's been a bit like up and down on it, because he loves Saints Row, and he's like, I don't understand why people hate it so much. And I haven't seen any hate on Saints Row, the new one, and I'm like, I want to play it so badly. I was so hoping I'd get a code, and I haven't. So I'm like, I'm waiting till I can play it.
Most of it, from what I've seen, is like the stories just, that level of work stuff, like just easily, you know, not savable. The gameplay is good, but if you're actually interested in getting into it, Skill Up's review, Skill Up, Aussie YouTuber, he does like a half an hour breakdown on it. It was like one of those games, gameplay wise, that needed another year in the oven.
Yeah, it was a pretty scathing review, to be fair. Yeah. Having said that, though, being achievement hunters, though, that doesn't often stop us from playing things.
Saying that, though, strictly watch that review based on the final boss bug.
Right, yeah. Right.
Like, guns at dawn, get shot, T-poses out of there. Amazing.
Okay, that's pretty funny.
Tell you what.
Yeah.
I'm part of the Deep Silver Collector Creative, and to be fair, oh hey Davey, I don't know if you've seen him on Twitter. He was basically the guy behind the whole thing. So for any stuff like Gods Will Fall and you know, anything that Deep Silver has released, he's put a load of stuff together and sent them out. Now I tell you what, I had a pretty cool package the other day. Came in a little. Well, you can't.
I saw this.
Oh wait. We've got to wait for it to like. Oh, there you go, Saints Row. I see. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I don't want to spoil it. I've seen this.
Oh.
You want me to spoil it?
Yeah, go for it. What do you got?
You go for it. You go for it.
Yeah, I want to see it. I want to see this.
So you get a nice.
Okay, put it in front of your face. Hang on. There. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah. Oh wait, hang on. What does it?
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Keep it strange.
Too spicy for Twitch.
It is. Apparently, it's just like, nah, I'm not going to, you can't see it. I'm not going to let you.
And we got some, come on, you son of a...
Oh, nice.
Huh.
And
Cool.
some explosives.
Oh, of course. Yep.
Yeah, of course.
Ass exploding hot sauce.
Yes, you got the hot sauce. Yes. Yes.
Habanero.
That's what I was waiting for.
Small hole. Small hole, which I laughed at. We got shit starter, which is blueberry habanero.
Ooh.
Keep it strange, Reaper Scorpion Ghost Sauce. I'm a fanny, so I'll never fucking have any of this because I'll shit my pants there and then. What we got? Mouth Anarchy, Cayenne Garlic Hot Sauce.
Wow.
And Dishonorable Discharge, Sweet and Smoky Jalapeno.
Okay, that's a good one.
That's great. I like that.
So it's going to have to be more pranks, this one.
Yeah,
Kids' food. Oh, no,
Yeah, exactly.
no, I better not do that.
Just occasionally.
Don't put hot sauce in your kids' food.
No,
Yeah, no, we don't condone
this.
this sort of behavior.
So for our audio listeners too,
I'm not condoning it, I swear down. Sorry.
For our audio listeners too, so Welsh has just got out a box of all different hot sauces, a shirt, all this other stuff.
It's a Saints Row special. Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna.
Cool.
I'm definitely gonna give the game a try. Like I've loved all the other Saints Rows. Some more than others, but I've still enjoyed all of them. So it's definitely on my list.
It's best not to go in with is it going to be a Grand Theft Auto 5 style story? If you just like exploding shit, then
That is me. I like exploding shit, and I don't give a shit about story.
I turn my brain off on a weekly basis to do the show, so I might as well just stay in that mode and play the game.
Wow.
I love that kind of stuff. So
I guess with that too, what's the best thing you've ever received as a content creator?
Ooh, yeah.
Best thing. It was a pair of dirty used nothing. No.
Oh yeah, conflict denied ops. I remember that, right? You got the camouflage underwear that said denied on the front of it. Yeah, I remember that.
That's what you meant.
That was you, Matt.
People to make
it was
money.
me. Yeah. I thought it was. Yeah,
You don't do that for free. You send that to make money.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm doing all this shit, Ron. I only need some help off you guys. You guys seem to know how to.
Oh, we're excellent shillers. Are you kidding me? I am.
We shall teach you the ways, young Padawan.
Yeah, there's no shame here.
Then we are good to go. Better get the fingers ready.
Speaking of segues, we should get into our community questions.
We should.
So we got a couple of questions here. We got one from my good friend Mikhail. He says, "Hey, you guys always talk about games that had great stories on the podcast. What makes a great story for you?"
Conflict resolutions.
Okay. Literally, yes. That is how a story works. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So you probably need those. Yeah. Good job, Cameron.
Do I want to do the troll answer, or do I want to? This is the thing. It depends on like the flavor of the week. Like, what am I into lately? Like, is it borrowing from an existing like IP or franchise that I'm currently that I'm already interested in? Always the gameplay is going to be the first thing that sells me.
Right.
Like Tinykin sold on because of like Pikmin. Yeah.
Sure.
Story's just the bonus. Like, it's not the bonus. It's going to be the thing that sells the experience for you. Because I will have games that I will turn off because I'm just really not gelling with it. But usually that's because of the gameplay. Because I'll otherwise suffer through it or just skip cutscenes if I get too bored of it. I mean, that's the thing.
Like, I understand. Like, I get it. It's just like, to me, that is the absolute fucking sacrilege. Because it's like, story is the entire reason that I play. I engage with any medium on earth. It's the reason I read books. It's the reason I watch movies. It's the reason that I play video games. It's like, if I wanted to play something without a story, I would play roguelites.
But is it respecting your time though? That's what it comes down to.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I can understand that. Yeah. Like that. Like there are things that play well that have terrible stories. I mean, like, Dreamscaper is a perfect example of that plays really, really well, but there is no story to speak of, and like that's why it's not grabbing me as much as I thought it would.
And that's I'm strictly like gameplay first. Yeah. So that's why I enjoyed Dreamscaper so much, and I was just like, all right, just cut through all the all the stuff I don't really care about. Let's just get to the dungeon crawling, like roguelite sense of it. There's other stuff too, like when Bulbasaur, if it's humor, if it's supposed to be there, of course, Jump Force.
Jump Force is a classic game, but the story is basically it's an excuse plot.
Yeah, I was gonna say mashing IPs together to try and get something. Never works for me.
Yeah,
and especially properties too that don't respect their own IP. Like if somebody's like, what's a good example of it? Like it might be Avengers, for example. You see MCU and everything looks so amazing, and then you get to like the Avengers game. I can't really critique it because I haven't played it. I know some people
like the story is actually pretty good in Avengers. It's really the gameplay that really lets it down. But I don't know.
I was trying to use an example. Yeah,
but I get what you mean though. Welsh, do you have any thoughts?
I'm kind of the same. I think it's got it. Like one of my favorite stories for some reason was Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Now a lot of people just thought it's just pretty average, but
just
that's because
pirates,
I really love the series. So like Cam was saying, if you really love the series, you'll love the story rather than I don't know, it's just got to be gameplay. Story doesn't particularly bother me.
Did you play free beforehand?
What's that?
Did you play free before Black Flag? Like, did you go straight?
I played them in order.
Okay, that explains everything.
Yeah, because 4 is so much better than 3. To be fair, that's not a hard ask.
Yeah, and until they killed off Desmond, the story went to shit. Then
right,
the gameplay was still decent, but
yeah, exactly. That
killed
was
Desmond off. Ruined it.
Yeah, and they've never recovered from that. In terms of the modern, that really interesting modern day, because that was the best thing about 3 was that like you had those really interesting modern day assassin stuff, and you got to have all the cool conversations and all the stuff that you learned over the last couple of games about the first civilization and stuff. I was just like, and then I had to go through and then I had to play as Connor, the most boring assassin of all time, and jump through trees and just hear him just be a mopey fucking Final Fantasy character for a bit.
So much potential. I was going to say with the Assassin's Creed stuff too, I was going to quickly just add in there. Apparently that Assassin's Creed 1 remaster remake, 100% true.
Yeah, that looks good actually. I'm excited to hear.
And Mirage is apparently a 20-hour game.
Oh, okay.
See, now that's good because Valhalla, in the end, I stopped it in the end. It fucking too many collectibles. And the fucking DLC, I paid £100 or $100 or whatever currency it is,
Dollary days. Yep.
Dollary days. It's always dollary.
I don't know. Look, I don't know if it's going to be dollary days next year. They might have
you're right.
a new name.
Sure, it might not be. Yeah, you're right. You might be right. Yeah.
Might be.
Well, no, it won't have a new name. It'll just have a new picture.
Yeah, so they're gonna have to get a new foot in the boot.
I don't know how Australians feel about King Charles. We're probably just.
I'm not getting into it. I'm not getting into it.
We're not discussing that. We don't go political.
Hey, Charlotte, what about you? You've got any thoughts about story?
A little bit. So because everyone sort of already knows that I tend to play games on mute because I find that I get a bit overwhelmed with too many sounds going on. So I tend to like having either Spotify playing or I'm in a party or something else is going on, and I just find it too hard to have the gameplay on at the same time. So. And it's usually because the story isn't engaging enough for me to actually want to listen. Or the music's not good enough. Or there's something that I'm like, actually, my Spotify's better than this. Why am I listening to a dumb game when I could be listening to something better? So I tend to mute a lot of the story. So then I miss a lot. But because I do that, I then don't engage with the story. So gameplay is always number one, but I usually will have subtitles so I can still read it. I still know what's going on in the story and I can pick and choose. Like it's not hard to work out what's going on, right? But there'll be once in a blue moon, there'll be a game that like pulls me in. Like True Colors did this to me. Life is Strange True Colors. I was listening to it intently. I was not playing this when I was in parties. I was playing this when I was on my own. I had my headset on. I was listening to everything because I wanted to. I wanted that story. I loved that story. That was fantastic, especially when I played the first one and I was like,
Well, those games are very gameplay like, right? Like it's the extent of the gameplay for the most part is walking around and hitting A and talking to people, right? And then occasionally making decisions.
Yeah. So, and then because that's the whole game, right? But then Plague Tale, there's so much more to it. I do actually play a Plague Tale with the sound. Because I'm like, okay, it's a stealth game. I do actually need to hear what's going on. I need to actually, and I want to know what's going on in the story as well. And like, if I can't hear what's going on, then I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, what the fuck am I meant to do here? And I finally made it through the whole story. So that's at least something. But I noticed that when I was playing without the sound, I was much, much worse than when I was playing with the sound. So I kind of just was like, right, I need to actually play this. But if it's story, if it's funny, then I'm fully in. Like The Artful Escape was one that really drew me in, and I listened to the whole thing. Like that was fantastic. I loved that game. What's another one? Omno. I love the story in Omno.
I was going to say,
is there a story?
With the
a little bit. Shut up.
With The Artful Escape too.
Yeah.
It's interesting too because that one actually has voice acting compared to like other indies.
Yeah.
You-
Like obsessively loved The Artful Escape.
It kind of makes you think like how, like, you know, the added bonus that voice acting is, especially with a title like that. Whether
having that level of production value kind of does help elevate it a little bit.
Except when it's got a real lame ending to a story.
It happens.
And it runs in loops.
Yep. Yes.
You know?
We've all played 12 minutes.
At least I had good voice actors.
It had me. Okay, that game had me. The story had me until the ending, and I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
I think the gameplay loop had me. Like, I want more games like 12 minutes but actually good stories.
Same. I actually love that gameplay. I want more of that gameplay.
I'm sure they'll do it 13 minutes or something at some stage.
Maybe less incest, maybe.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Just a little bit.
Not
or more. I mean, I don't know. That depends on, you know.
They could just double down on it. And like,
yeah, there might be this is the thing about the game.
The other thing I wanted to add too is like adding story where it absolutely doesn't need to be. Like for example, Forza Horizon 5.
Yeah, but I think the thing is that the reason why there is story in those games is because there needs to be some impetus for people to play it. Because if you don't have direction, people who don't jerk off about cars aren't going to be interested in your game. You know, that's the thing. Is that I really enjoyed Forza Horizon 5, right? But I haven't played Forza Horizon since 1. If I'd played 4 and 3 and 2, and like there's even a through line, right? It's like you play the same character from the 4th game and potentially the 3rd game as well, I think.
The character's just you, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's you, but you when your character is speaking, references driving in England and driving in Australia, and so it's like there is actually some sort of weird through line of story and characters. I didn't really pay much attention to it, but I kind of picked it up.
I would never. I've put over 3,000 hours into a series, and I could never have told you that.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's like I watched all the cutscenes.
There's no need for speed.
Yeah, right. Well, that's true. That is true. Oh man, I'm not even getting into it, but. In terms of like stuff that I like, I'm a story first person all the time. So, what makes a great story? I love a good mystery. I'm like a big into like that kind of stuff where it's like a Sherlock Holmes.
Poirot. I was keen on that one.
What's that Ubisoft title that came out like on the Xbox One? It was 360 as well. Ghost Story.
Murdered Soul Suspect.
Yeah, Soul Suspect. That was a really good one.
Yeah, it was cool. I liked that game. Like again, it was cheesy, and a little bit ropey in terms of like, you know, the production value was obviously a little bit lower, but I thought that was cool. I was like, oh cool, like an interesting murder mystery story. Again, mostly just narrative. Like there was a little bit of gameplay in there, but it was mostly walking around and picking things up and
collectibles.
Stuff. Like I loved LA Noire the first time I played through it, not so much the second and third.
What was it that we played that I played first, and then I was like, you have to play this. It got a title update with more achievements.
Boyfriend Dungeon?
Fuck. No. Black and white. Real universe. And
Genesis Noir.
Thanks, Welsh. Oh, thanks for reading my mind. Yeah, Genesis Noir.
That's like
that one.
again,
Yeah,
It's
I know.
fucking weird.
It's
but
weird.
I fucking love the story. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I love, again, and that's the one where it's like I don't even think about the story. Like I love the noir thing
Yeah.
because noir is a big thing for me. But it's like it wasn't so much even the story, but that was like the experience and the art style and just the strangeness is always something that appeals to me. Like I love Deadly Premonition, right? That game is fucking weird, and playing it is painful. It is not it controls badly. The combat is awful. The dialogue stuff is kind of not great. The fact you have to play through it 3 times, like if that game had just been more of a walking sim and more of a detective game, I would have probably enjoyed it more. But like whatever, like it's I love it for the story and I love it for the intrigue and I love it for the writing.
Yeah.
And like I will usually struggle through a game if I need to get a compelling narrative, especially if someone else has recommended it to me. Like at the moment, I'm playing through Zero Time Dilemma, the third Zero Escape game, and that's all story. I mean, in the same way the other, well, mostly all story. There's some puzzle solving in there as well, but like the other 2 games are the same way. All of the pretty much all of the like Spike Chunsoft games are that way, right? They're basically visual novels with some gameplay bolted onto the side of them, so you don't just keep hitting A the entire time.
Yeah.
And like I'm okay with that because like I'm interested in narrative, I'm interested in writing. That's why I like to read. And I like getting achievements for it. It also helps a lot, right? Not that I don't play things for gameplay anyway, and we'll talk about stuff that I've been playing this week later. But yeah, I don't know what necessarily makes a great story, but I know what interests me, and like intrigue and mystery is always the first thing that comes to mind. I love being a detective. I love working out stuff and working on clues and trying to. I love whodunits and locked room murder mysteries and that kind of stuff.
Actually, wait, Welsh, you're working on a new guide, aren't you?
New? I was working on Danganronpa.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
Play that, which is by the same guys as the Zero Effect games, right?
Yeah. Spike Chunsoft. Yeah, I love Danganronpa.
Like that story was wicked. Really cool. Again, that's another like 50, 60-hour game. I haven't finished it yet. And people are getting pissed off because I haven't finished it. Sorry.
I'm working on it.
You can't rush out, yeah?
What do you want from me?
Exactly. I'm only one tiny man.
I'm trying.
And I did I did both of those games, Danganronpa 1 and 2, because they're in Game Pass. And like I love the stories for them, but then you get to the end bit where they're like, okay, cool, here's the 10-hour grind for the other achievements, and it's like here's the management mode that we were like, hey, we need some replayability in this game. And you're just like, oh, for fuck's sake, you really couldn't have just done away with it. Yeah. And like in their later games, I feel like they're better about it. Like they don't have that kind of stuff in AI, and they don't have this kind of stuff in the Zero Escape games either. It's like you get to the end of the story, branching narrative, interesting stuff, you're done. Enjoy it.
That's why I haven't finished it yet, because I've tried to start it, and I'm like, I've just had a great story. Like, why are you giving me shit to manage? I don't want to play management type game. It's supposed to be just a visual novel and kill this dude and kill his like. I don't want to be managing shit. Yeah, that's why I haven't finished it. So sorry if you're waiting for the Danganronpa rest of the guide. I haven't finished it because school mode. So
I'm with you. And you have an almost identical island mode in the second game. So they were just like, we just got to do it again. Because it went over so well the first. I can't wait. I'm sure they'll bring out the third game at some stage.
That's a good extra question though. Like if you're doing guides for games, do you talk more about the story or the gameplay?
I do more the story. To be honest, I'll explain.
Story diction.
Can I grow a wiener here?
Yeah. I did, I did say, Char, didn't I? I said I was going to come on and talk about mature themes. No politics, no King Charles stuff. Even though we want Steve Irwin to go on the dollar bills now and stuff.
That's a good idea.
Okay, that would be fantastic.
That is a good idea.
We want the laser Kiwi on our one.
Yeah, we want the laser Kiwi. Just no no King Charlie. Sorry,
Kiwi?
Just laser Kiwi.
Yeah, it's a Kiwi. It was one of our flag referendum ideas.
It was one of our flags.
Where it was a Kiwi, like the whole side of the flag was a Kiwi.
We could have had a flag with a laser
coming out of its eyes and burning the ground.
I wasn't sure if you said lazy or laser.
No, laser.
Kiwi. Yeah, it's great. Someone did a $5 mock-up for it, and I was like, I would use that as legal tender. I'm not going to say that sentence.
Why am I thinking that New Zealand is some weird Tokyo mashup now with Godzilla with laser eyes?
I would see it.
Okay. New Zealand, we just love our memes to the point where, okay, this is the greatest story that's come out of my workplace, and I love it. So we discovered that so you can write ministerials to our parliamentary members, right? And you can also, as a public member, within Parliament, they can also ask questions to each other. And in certain departments, the departments have a whole team that answer these on behalf of the ministers. And you can, anyone in the public can go and look these up. Anyone. And I'm more than happy to find the link to this because it's public knowledge. There is a question that was asked from one minister to another, basically stating, have you, as the minister of such and such, asked the minister of COVID response or whatever about this? And the response was just a meme. And the meme was the Spider-Man, because those two ministers are the same person. So literally the question was, have you asked yourself about this question? And it was the greatest thing ever. And that is great. New Zealand to a T. We love our memes.
Wow. It was great.
Even in our parliament system.
New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just quickly move on to the second question because we're digging into this for a bit. But I said there are certainly movies that you've seen countless times. Do you have games you come back to even though you're done with them? And I don't mean games from when you were kids, that when you only had 2 games to play, which is a fair point.
I mean, like, there's games that I'll chip, like Halo MCC I chipped away for like 7 years.
Sure, but you don't go back to it now that you're done with it.
I mean, I do if I need to really help somebody, but that's not on my own.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think it comes down to a case of, like, is this a massive grind fest? Mm-hmm. That I can get achievements in? Because there's, like, Age of Empires 2. I've been playing since it's come out, and I'm like 70% of the way there. But I think
the key thing is that, like, a game that you're, like, done with, and, like, I feel like in terms of achievement hunters, like, when we're done with a game, we're fucking done with a game.
Well, okay, this is a good one for that. Like, okay, so earlier in the year, maybe in like late last year, I challenged Matt because he had never really replayed. He had told me he'd never replayed any game that he had completed. He never gone back and just played it because he wanted to. So it's like, okay, right, you've completed every single game. Go back and replay one of those games. Just replay one game that you had completed just for fun. And what game was it that you did?
I did Halo 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how was it?
Fucking incredible. Still one of the greatest games of all time. I played it on my own, which again is not the optimal way to play that game, but still absolutely fantastic. I put it on easy and I just smashed my way through it and just fucking Master Chiefed all over their faces. It was great.
Yeah.
So that's actually a good challenge for our listeners and like people in chat. If you like, what game would you go back and redo? And if so, why don't you go and do it now? If you've completed a game, what game would you go and replay just for fun?
Have you seen my backlog?
I have seen your backlog.
That's the problem.
I have seen your backlog. I would, when I finish Cult of the Lamb, I'm going to go back to Cult of the Lamb again and again because I want to make more cults.
Look, this would be a completely different story if it wasn't for things like I'm thinking multi-leveled with this. Game Pass for one. Game Pass is constantly adding update like content.
Yeah, it is.
So I can't mentally get past the thing of like I could be earning achievements. Like sure, if I'm going to go back to a title like Halo 3, for example, it's probably going to be because, you know, I'm mates with Joe Blow and he's struggling with a certain level and he needs help. And that's where I'll get my joy from because I would much rather be using time that I'm not hunting achievements, getting somebody else achievements. Mm-hmm. Especially like Steven.
I played some stuff with like Kirby and stuff around like things that he needs some help with that I'd already finished. I'm like, yeah, I'll reinstall that, or we can jump on that, or whatever we need to. It's not a big deal.
Brotherhood recently as well.
Yeah, Brotherhood and Revelations, right? Exactly. That's a great example. But like, yeah, there isn't. I have got no time for that, unfortunately, in terms of like going back to old games. Especially because story is such a big thing for me. Once I experience a story, there's not really a lot of reason for me to want to re-experience it, unless like the kind of the best example of this is like going back and doing the Kingdom Hearts collection when it came to the Xbox and it had achievements. Because, like, again, those are games from my childhood that I played on the PlayStation 2. So I replayed them, but I probably wouldn't have if they had no achievements, I probably wouldn't have bothered. As much as I enjoy those games, just because I have so much else to play and there's so many other new experiences to have. And that's why I'm struggling to get through the Mass Effect trilogy at the moment, the remaster. Because I love Mass Effect, but I know everything about that game. I rinsed that trilogy back in 2007, right? I love those games, but now it's like, fuck, I know exactly what's going to happen. I know exactly how this encounter is going to go down. I know all the speech checks. I know all this stuff. And it's just, I feel like I'm going through the motions.
It's hard because you want to get to a point with certain games too that you know, like you're 100% knowledgeable about like how the gameplay and everything feels, but not how the game will play out.
Yeah.
Just say no. Somebody has a gun to your head and says, you know, they're going to kidnap you. If you don't replay a game, I'm going to kidnap you and torture you for some reason. I don't know why.
Thanks, Welsh.
Yeah.
Not giving anyone
Kinky.
any ideas.
No,
but like you guys weren't even answering my question. You were just like, no, I'd never go back and replay.
Yeah. So you've got to pick one
Had
game
to,
whether you're
if
gonna
you
get
had
kidnapped.
to. If you had
Look,
to.
balls
And
are gonna
it's
be
a game that you
tossed in
have
there.
completed.
For me, it's like, and this is the thing because I'm currently working at the moment. It's probably going to be Age of Empires 2 because it is one of those games that it has enough variety in gameplay. It's constantly had 20 years of like content updates and that kind of stuff. There's enough variety there that you can play multiplayer with friends. You can do like a random match. You can revisit campaigns for the historical element of it. Like, you know, I might be like this week, I've been watching a few YouTube videos about Joan of Arc. I kind of want to just get that feel of everything again. Let's go back and play through the Joan of Arc campaign. Other than that, Halo MCC because of the multiplayer. But
Yeah.
For me, probably something in the Legacy of Kain series. Probably maybe Soul Reaver 2 or something along those lines, where that was one of those, like that was one of those things that got me into story in video games. Was that like, I like it was one of the things where I watched the behind the scenes stuff about how they recorded it, and the guy they got, I think his name Michael Bell, who does the voice of Raziel, was like, oh, is this like for like a movie? So he's like, no, this is like we're doing like a video game. He's like, man, this is a fucking this is a script. Like you got a lot of story in here. Like it's I once, again, this was when I was a kid, right? I once tried to explain the plot of the game to my mother, and it was a waste. It was like I realized as I was explaining, I needed a fucking flow chart and like a massive and I was like going back and experiencing that. Yeah, right. It definitely needed like a whiteboard, right? And I really hope that again, like there's some stuff in the news about how Crystal Dynamics now has ownership back of those properties. Now that they've split from Square, they might make another one, or they might remake them, or they might do a something, because the series has been dead since the PlayStation 2. So, yeah, like I think that would be something that I would love to go back and experience, because those games, gameplay wise, not too bad, but in terms of story, just is so compelling and interesting. Because it's got time travel, and it's got fucking vampires, and it's got undead, it's got wraiths, and it's got fucking elder gods, and so good. So that would probably be the one.
What about you, Welsh?
It's going to probably be... Look, these are probably going to be very sort of bland, plain answers. The first one would be Toy Story from the Sega Mega Drive.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because that shit done my twatting when I was a kid. Because all Sega games are fucking solid when you were a kid, don't they? Unnecessarily hard. But I loved it. That was my favorite game. And then the two on the sort of Xbox era would be Saints Row 4, Saints Row 3 or 4, purely space dildos.
Yeah, I could say. I mean,
I can say that.
That's always fun. But then Assassin's Creed 2. Assassin's Creed 2 would probably be the one that I go do. That's purely because I loved the series before it sort of, went a bit shite, went a bit squiffy, but
it went off in a different direction.
Yeah. Let's call it that. But yeah,
that's a nice way to put it.
Exactly. But I mean, the character development of Ezio was just fucking incredible. And even throughout the game, where there was like past references to Altair from the first game and things like that, it's just like two Brotherhood and Revelations were the ultimate Assassin's Creed games for me. So I happily play that again.
Yeah,
easily.
totally agree.
Mm.
And that kind of also helps lead into our other question we have from the Natolinator. Says, do you ever feel odd or get FOMO when you're playing a grindy completion but not getting achievements as quick as you would for, say, smaller games? For example, I'm grinding out Rocket Arena and I'm spending many weeks grinding out the last 2 achievements, and I get distracted easily wanting to play other games knowing that I could make a bit more of a dent in my backlog.
It's hard. I was thinking today when I was playing Destroy All Humans 2, and it's been a while since I've thought about this, how well your achievement list is timed out in terms of pops. Because I feel like Destroy All Humans 2 does a really good job of giving you half the game is your story-based achievements, do X, Y, and Z, and then your miscellaneous cleanup. And
Yeah.
I was torn, like, just thinking, like, with the devs that I've worked with so far, is it better to do a game that encapsulates everything all in one story kind of event? Or is it better to do that kind of thing where, all right, you can, like, zip through a 10-hour story, for example, and then do 10 hours or like 5 to 10 hours cleanup of enjoyable tasks. Like, how do you work it? Because I think at the end of the day, with the achievement list, that they need to be spread out in such a way that if you've got a 20-hour completion, I would say roughly your list should be 50 achievements, and you should be getting a pop for an achievement hunter roughly every hour. Something to keep you engaged. If you're going like 10 hours, like if you're going 10 hours and you're not getting an achievement, like I still remember that, I'll always reference it, Forza Horizon 2, Your Race Belonged to Us, going 4 weeks for one single achievement was nuts, and I don't think I'll ever do it again unless I'm really invested into the game. So I feel odd about it, but then at the same time, it's a weird question to ask in the community because you're going to have to rely on people that have already completed the game. And I like the podcast because usually, I'll take examples from Matt, what he's played before as completions to use for like my future completions or to dip my toes in. Skill-based, though, is a completely different story with stuff like Rocket Arena.
Yeah, and when you start chucking multiplayer in there, it gets a bit iffy because it's like, okay, like Spellbreak, for example, is like fuck. What are you gonna do, right? Like it's been ages since I've popped an achievement in that game, and like
yeah,
it's just,
and you're in like is server closure, so
just getting it done, So
yeah.
Charlotte, what about you? What are your thoughts? And then we'll go to you, Welsh, after that.
Because the interesting thing with this is that I'm not like, I'm notorious for not going back to grindy games. As soon as it starts getting grindy, I'm like,
going
fuck
back to
this
games
shit.
at all, apparently, just until we poke you a bit.
Hey, except I'm actually working on my completion percentage. Thank you very much. I have it sitting at 69.6. I'm getting there. I'm gonna reach that 80% before 69. The end of the year.
Yeah.
No, leave it.
No, I've been told no. My standard is not allowed to sit there. I have to be at 80%. I've been told it's not good enough. Apparently,
not good.
I'll drop down to 69. It's fine. One of us are gonna do 69.
One of us. Yeah, exactly. See,
and it's not going to be me. I'm more of a 96 guy myself.
Okay, but so my Twitter sits at I only follow 690 people.
Yeah.
So that stays. That never changes. It's always going to be 690. I'm like, that's not changing. I'll get to 80. It's fine. But for me, I like, if it's a grindy game, I'm like, nah, I just stop. Like, I haven't gone back to Saints Row the Third, and I've got one achievement left. One, and it's the fucking grindy one of completing all the challenges. And I'm just like, I'll get there. I'm not even doing like a little bit a day. I'm just like, I'll do it eventually. I've just stopped. As soon as it gets grindy, I just stop. And then I'll go to like the smaller games. But it's interesting because I did actually this week finish a game, like a shorter one. Because I was playing Plague Tale and I'm trying to get the completion done before it leaves Game Pass. And I just need to play something else. I just need to play something else, and I just need to pop some achievements and just go for it. So I did a visual novel, and hey,
Which one?
What?
I'll tell you when I get to my games.
I was
later.
gonna say it depends on which one, whether we should be laughing or not.
I'll tell you when I get to my games later, right? So yeah, like it's a bit of a hard one for me to answer because I'm still very new in the achievement hunting world. I'm past a year. Yeah, like I'm getting there, but I've also just got a low percentage for completion, so I think it's one that I'm going to work towards. And I'll get to a point where I'm like, okay, I actually need to start grinding out some more stuff. But I'm not there yet. What about you, Welsh?
It's a funny one, and I was going to ask you guys as well. If you see a grindy achievement before you start a game, if you think people have said this is going to take 10 hours, would you actually start that game? Because I don't. Even if the gameplay is fantastic, if I want to go, it's a tricky one. If it's really, really good, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But if it's kind of just like the gameplay is just a bit,
It'll put me off.
It's a red flag for sure. I'm like a masochist, so I'll usually be like, fuck it, whatever. If it's like, oh, it's a 20-hour game and it's a 10-hour grind at the end of it, I'm gonna be like, for fuck's sake. All right, well, if it's a good game, then I'll probably just struggle through it, but it'll definitely like get put down my list in terms of what I want to play. Now, if it's a 20-hour game with a 50-hour grind at the end of it, and it makes it like a 70 to 80-hour game, that's where I'm like, no, I value my time a little bit too much for that. You're taking the piss there, really.
I go back to Valhalla with that. Enjoyed the game, enjoyed the story. The story's all right, but it was the fact that they just chucked in so many collectibles. And why did devs always think bigger is better? Forza Horizon 5, where they go, it's the biggest map ever. Like,
Actually, that brings up a question. Because Assassin's Creed Valhalla is such a game in itself, if you had to just cover one, like if Welsh Hunter was known for covering one game, like, you turned your content into like, all right, this is what the Ubisoft devs have up for us, like, plan this week. What game would it be? Would you be like a Sea of Thieves creator? Would you be a Valhalla? Would you be Halo?
I'd probably one of those 10-minute ones, I think.
Yeah, easy. Just they just knock off for lunch.
Likers and stuff.
Exactly.
I go, look at that.
Foxy Land, greatest game of all time.
Those little ones.
Yeah, exactly.
The jumping fry off the PlayStation. Yeah, I didn't fucking cover that. But
like, there is one channel that did really good Odyssey content. I can't think of what its name is.
But the problem is when you do something like that, when the game ends, the game ends. Like, that's it. Like.
I mean, like, if it's Assassin's Creed, though, you can just make the whole series your content. And
maybe, but even then, that still comes to an end, right?
Like, imagine if you were just solely Halo, and then you were relying on
Halo Infinite.
Yeah, right, right, yeah. I think that getting back to the question.
Yeah.
Getting back to the question, I think that for me, I don't actually really care when my achievements pop. Because like I did certainly more when I was doing my streak. That was all I thought about.
Year.
I mean, when you have to plan for stuff like for events and that, it's a completely different story.
Yeah.
Which is why I don't do that anymore. It's like I did my year and I'm out, and like I don't do true achievement challenges. I try not to do any of that kind of stuff because I'm just like it affects the way I play games and makes me think about things in a way I don't like.
Let me play how I want to play rather than having to adhere to. Like,
And
I like events that inspire you to play something, but to actually follow guidelines, no.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, if every single achievement for a game popped right at the end of the game, whatever. Like, if it's like one achievement at the beginning and then 49 of them in the last hour of the game, that's fine. I'll play a game without getting the achievements showing up right away. That doesn't really matter to me if a game's backloaded or front loaded or whatever. It only matters that I get all of them.
Yeah.
What about when you get like 5 rare pops though at once? That's a feel.
It's nice, but like whatever, it's fine. Like, it's again. I think that one of the things that, in terms of like FOMO, I think about my backlog in terms of a total of hours. So yeah, like in the extreme, there'd be stuff where it's like, yeah, I could finish a lot of games or I could do this one game, but it's all in my backlog. I need to finish it all at some stage. So I just have to allocate the time I wanted to. Now, stuff like Gears 3, right? Like, that's an extreme example where I'm like, I've told myself, I'm like, no, I'm good. Like there's a 1,000-hour game. Like I've got way better shit to do. I could do I could finish the rest of my backlog with most of that. So
that's the hard. Like that's why I don't like being a
for one
completionist
achievement.
too. Because you could complete like everything but seriously and still have a really good time with Gears 3.
Yeah, exactly. And I have done. I've done every other achievement in Gears 3 except for seriously. And even then there's a bit of a grind to start with. But
but like leaving it at that is an enjoyable somewhat enjoyable experience.
I'm probably never going to go back to Gears 3 to be honest. Like I just don't see it in my future with the amount of stuff in my backlog currently and the stuff that I've only been playing mostly only been playing Game Pass stuff. It's just not worth it. So yeah, like I feel like a little bit of FOMO, but not as much as you'd probably expect because I know that I'll always eventually I'll put the hours in at some stage. It doesn't have to be. I don't need the achievements to pop for me if I need them. It's like a game's either complete or it's not, whether it's one achievement or 12 achievements. It's like, it affects my completion percentage a little bit, and I try to be good about cleaning that up. But, I
was going to say, there's also titles in there too that, like, I've noticed it recently. I'm trying to think of an example. They have, like, 12 to 15 achievements. And then, like,
spell breaks like that.
Yeah, spell breaks like that. Like, I'm trying to think of an example outside the live service. But I just don't like it because it just really feels like
with shorter achievements?
No, they're the same length, but they just have less achievements and they just give you more.
I'd much rather have more.
Well, you've got the Zachtronic ones.
Yeah,
Opus only has 10 achievements.
Yeah, but they're PC though, and at the same time they've had. I can give the Zachtronic games a bit of a pass because they're usually puzzle games that have guides. And that already,
there are guides out there for them. It's just gonna take you a little while because you have to sit on it and go. Yeah,
it's like Single State that we've published before. Like my workplace, there's like so many guides, and even just going to the Discord, you can post a puzzle, and within an hour, usually somebody's solved it for you. Disney game. A Disney game is going to be another grind. Like that live service model, I feel like has become. Very notorious with having smaller amounts of achievements.
Yeah, it just means they can add more later, right? I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel exactly like you want a game that respects your time, and I think like David mentioned that Plague Tale has a really good achievement list. I think it's a perfect example where it's like you at the end of the game, when you get to the end, if you've done everything right, you're done. You get everything, and you do have to get all the collectibles, and you got to do a bunch of other stuff within the game.
But you could technically do that in one run if you did follow. My problem was I was using the TA guide when I was doing it the first run through, and
if it's a story-based game like Plague Tale, though, you hopefully want to get everything in one go. You want to at least have the potential to get everything in one go.
Like I'm doing cleanup now and having to do chapter select.
Yeah,
but I really should have done it in one go. It's fine, but I should have done it all in one go.
Because there's other games too, like. If there's a cool Easter egg or something, and they want me to, go to this place and do that after the game, I'm kind of like, whatever. It's
depends how long.
Yeah.
It's like, another 20 hours. I'm like, I'm good. I don't need.
Okay, you use JRPGs for example. Like you'll finish the main story for Final Fantasy X, and then going to the dungeon that has a mega.
Yeah, a mega weapon.
Yeah, mega weapon. Like that adds quite a few hours onto the game, but it's still content. It's still enjoyable.
Sure, but there's also achievements for that as well.
And
it's good. It's good content, and true. JRPGs are a little bit different because they have a history of having post game content, right?
Yeah,
and that's kind of that's why I like JRPGs because they have a lot to bite into. Cool. All right. Well, let's look into some of the news. We'll just quickly fly through it because we've been talking for a little while. So I'll just rattle off.
You talk about Sony dad and Xbox dad fighting. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go for it. So there's been more barbs in the battle for Call of Duty. So we talked a little bit about how Sony is very upset that apparently Microsoft is doing this purchase and taking all this money and is going to bankrupt them, and Microsoft has been like, are you fucking serious? We're going to let you have Call of Duty. We're not, it would not make any financial sense for us to take Call of Duty away from you because most people are on PlayStation. Also,
we'll legitimately make more money if we let you have Call of Duty.
And literally you sold two PlayStation 4s to every Xbox One that ever went out. Don't fucking play. So they're all going head to head, and so the battle has continued. And apparently Jim Ryan has made this public that basically that there was a Call of Duty offer made to go beyond the first 3 years that are their current deal is. That was apparently inadequate on many levels, and he wasn't very happy with Phil Spencer.
Sounds like a desperate plea, doesn't it? Microsoft acquiring. Yeah.
Daddy, don't take my game away from me. Daddy Phil, please.
Yeah,
Daddy
and
Phil, I'm sure he'd like that little nickname, would he? Big Phil.
Yeah,
Big
we
Phil.
just
Daddy
clip that
Phil,
and
don't
send it to him.
spank me anymore.
Phil we trust.
Daddy Phil, come join us on our podcast.
and then David points out in the chat, Sony spent so much money on getting COD timed and content exclusive for PlayStation over the years. Exactly. Like PlayStation has been the place to play Call of Duty for the last generation.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so Microsoft only offered Call of Duty to remain on the PlayStation for 3 years after the current agreement between Activision and Sony, which is again for another 3 years on top of.
In all fairness, wait, was it 3 years past the current marketing deal passed, or 3 years past now?
It passes for after the agreement between Activision and Sony ends, which I think ends next year.
Okay, so realistically, from now, like roughly 4.
About 4 years.
Yeah, it's about 4 years,
which is pretty considerate. Like
that's really decent.
Yeah.
I mean, you compare how many games they actually have that are exclusive to PlayStation that compared to Xbox and what Xbox has that's just exclusive to Xbox, right?
The other thing too is that exclusive content is also put up by the fact that the platform itself will pay for those devs for that level of content. Like,
yeah.
So it's not just a case of Xbox and PlayStation will pay to have Call of Duty on their platforms.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just saw this and I just went like, I don't know. I feel like Jim Ryan's just complaining because sure, it's going to be like a massive loss.
Yeah, and they want to make themselves look as weak as possible to try and basically torpedo that deal for them.
Yeah.
I'm really interested in how it's going to bring up the conversation around console exclusivity. Because in a perfect world, I would just say that, all right, everybody shares their toys. Let the ecosystem, let the ecosystem speak for itself. Let your players, be able to play whatever they want. And I'm going to be very interested in how Xbox hit back with conversations around Sony's treatment of crossplay. Sony's treatment of franchises like Final Fantasy, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's already been fights on Twitter about this because there was a guy that posted something about this, and then someone commented being like, "Well, okay, that's fine. You guys have got Final Fantasy," and made comments about Final Fantasy and Game Pass and shit like that. And then he was like, "I'm not even talking about that."
Yeah,
as if it didn't make it, if it wasn't when relevant. It doesn't fit. And I'm like,
when it doesn't fit somebody's narrative,
it doesn't fit their narrative.
Yeah.
I don't know. Welsh, you got any thoughts?
To be honest, you've all hit the nail on the head. It all just seems to be, like I said, it's a PlayStation. Just to me, seemed to be getting desperate with all these little comments. Has Phil ever come out and said, "PlayStation, you bunch of tossers, you said done this, done that"? No, just and especially on Twitter. Jesus Christ, the fanboys on Twitter are.
Oh my god, yeah.
But Jesus Christ, take the stick, take it out your ass, and just enjoy life. Yeah, and
just join us gamers and appreciate games.
Just enjoy. Don't be like, well, you've got this, well, I got that.
It's so
40-year-olds.
Yeah, it's the thing that you would attribute to children, right? But it's people who are way too invested in justifying their purchase of an expensive, gaming machine, and then also standing up for a corporation,
which is even more expensive.
Yeah, well, especially now, right? And standing up for a corporation that doesn't give a shit about you,
it does not give a shit about you at all.
At the end of this, right? This is the kind of thing where they have all this public fight. They go, oh, blah, blah, this, that, and the other, and try to tank each other's deals and stuff. And then afterwards, they'll be like, yeah, you want to go have a beer? And they're like, yeah, of course, whatever.
Because the thing is, they're not doing this for the players.
No, they're doing this for themselves.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Whereas, both companies are.
Yeah.
Right? But I still feel like Xbox is more invested in the gamers than PlayStation is. I don't know if that's how anyone else feels
They've
about
definitely
it.
been
But
more
like,
pro-consumer over the last few years. But I think mostly that is because they've been on the back foot selling one Xbox every 2 PlayStations. They
so
haven't
kind of
had
have
much
to,
choice.
right?
The only negative one we had was the proposed increase in gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that backtracked.
Yeah. But like it's interesting like to see, you know, change within 24 hours for Xbox in a case like that, whereas on Sony's side you have the $70 game narrative, you have the increase in prices outside of US for hardware.
And it's not going to be backtracked at all. No. There is like whatever backlash they get, they're not going to backtrack that.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's like they've taken it in turns, isn't it? So when the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 came out, it was like, oh, I tell you what, Xbox, you're having a good time. And then when it was the 1 versus the 4, Phil must have gone, look, we'll make a share console than you so you can get some more money. And now it's back on the Series X and 5. I don't know, maybe in the next generation of consoles, really the PlayStation's going to be the one to go.
And even before the 360, right? It was the PlayStation 2 was the dominant console, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, exactly.
Over the GameCube and the original Xbox. So it's interesting.
I don't know.
It feels like they always do well, and then they rest on their laurels, and they're like, oh, what's the worst that could happen? And the competitor is like, fucking, this is the worst that could happen.
Yeah.
See, especially the Xbox One stuff.
The other thing too you got to look at in here as well is Nintendo's approach to everything, like what Nintendo's comments are going to be, because Nintendo doesn't have Call of Duty on their system, and they seem to be doing well.
Yeah, they're doing just fine, to be fair.
Yeah. Like that's the thing. I'm wondering if this will come down to like it, you know, whether Call of Duty does stay on PlayStation and there's just some sort of agreement sort of, which I don't have a problem with. I want, you know, as many games to be on as many consoles as possible, especially a crossplay and that kind of stuff. The more that people have the opportunity to play games, the better. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's also it's also the possibility too of how well Game Pass is doing. Sony doesn't want day one to be the thing.
Yeah, and I think that's what I'll close this out with. Basically, is that like they are in a state where eventually it comes down to whether they can make a deal or not. Right? They'll do all the posturing, the deal will go through, and Sony will be like, all right, fine, we'll come to the negotiating table because obviously we want to have, this game on our console. You know, what do we need? Does Sony need to take a smaller cut from the sale from that instead of their regular 30%? Maybe they take a 20%, whatever. Because Microsoft are going to be like, yeah, we'll sell you the game, and yeah, you can sell it for $70, and we'll make more money on it, and PlayStation people will pick it up, and then we'll just put it on Game Pass day one for all of our stuff.
Yeah,
and it's we win all over the board. Like that's their ideal play, and so Sony is basically just trying to couch this to be like, okay, well, we know this is going to happen. So we want to make this as beneficial for us as possible, so we don't get completely fucked.
I'm wondering when day one will be a case on PlayStation, because
it won't. They can't.
I think eventually it will be. Their hand will be forced.
I don't know if they can afford to.
Yeah.
I don't know, as a business, I don't know if Sony can afford to put their stuff. But given, and I don't want to get into a big discussion because we'll need to move on. But there is, I think that given Sony's strategy of having higher prices for their games, and having larger like blockbuster games coming out, and that being the thing that really fuels the engine of Sony and PlayStation, and they're obviously trying to move into live services to try and couch that and try to make that more of a less fragile. But I don't think they can, they can't afford to put the new God of War for free day one on their console when they put that much money to making it.
Yeah.
It's just not something. It's not their model.
No. But
it's not. They're not going to be able to do it like Xbox would with, say, Plague Tale, and being able to put Plague Tale Requiem day one on Game Pass. Like that's the thing. It's very different.
David just said Sony charging $70 for the games to make up for all the money that they spend keeping games off Game Pass. It's true too. It makes me wonder how much how much money they're spent, with exclusivity deals that they could have been spent, bolstering up their own catalog.
Yeah.
But they'd be looking at the wrong thing and going, right, we'll try and destroy Xbox a bit rather than, look at the wrong thing.
I don't like any consumer.
I'm not going to get on Sony's case for trying to be competitive, right? Like I get that, I don't agree with it as a consumer, but as someone
it makes sense from a business point of view.
As someone who works in quite a competitive business, I can understand why kneecapping your competitors may be more beneficial than actually doing more for your customers. Especially because if they're going to pay $70 no matter what, then you might as well spend the money on making sure that your competition is weaker than making your lineup stronger. Anyway, I want to quickly just touch on this just because I want to give Cameron shit for it. The Callisto Protocol director appears to glorify crunch culture.
Okay. Fuck you. You know my thoughts the exact moment that tweet dropped. I was the first one to point it out in the Discord. Fuck you.
This is true.
All right.
This is true.
So
last week, just for context for people who haven't listened, we did talk about the Callisto Protocol and how we were interested that they kind of what their development was and why they weren't basically going on the Game Pass. And they said it wasn't a good deal for them. And Cameron was talking about how he's really interested in the game and how they seem to have really something interesting going on there.
We even had a discussion about maybe they'll be delayed. What's going to happen?
Yeah. I think this got posted. Like this tweet got posted the next morning after the podcast.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So Striking Distance CEO and Callisto Protocol director Glenn Schofield basically, made a tweet glorifying crunch culture. Like, not intentionally glorifying it, but just being like, we're doing 16-hour days. We're so proud of this. This is such a pageant.
I just want to read the tweet because it's so tone deaf. I couldn't fucking believe it. We're working 6 or 7 days a week. Nobody's forcing us. Exhaustion, tired, COVID, but we're working. Scoville's tweet read, bugs, glitches, perf fixes, one last pass through audio, 12 to 15 hour days. This is gaming, hard work, lunch, dinner, working. You do it because you love it. And
All right.
Like,
because you love it.
David,
marks.
Pretty cringe tweet. Now, I can understand working in the field is, there's a lot of passion that goes in, but
we all love Phil, but do we love Phil that much?
I'm wondering if there's going to be like a Bloomberg report, doing interviews with the devs and having a conversation about that.
Daddy Phil, I don't want to crunch anymore.
So the thing, so this whole thing with Glenn is like, okay. So Jason Schreier jumped on this immediately, as you would expect him to, and pointed out that the whole thing stank of crunch. He's like calling it weaponized passion, said this is why people burn out of gaming. Other industry figures chimed in. Fraxis narrative lead, Kat Manning, called crunch a failure of project management. And the Metal Hellsinger creator, which is coming to Game Pass soon, David Goldfarb remarked it was sad that this shit continues even now.
You know what the sad thing is too? How much positive publicity this game had before. Everybody was interested. And now I know as soon as I saw that tweet the next morning, I went like, I'm going to give it a few months. I'm not interested. I don't give a shit about, somebody who's going to work his workers to the bone just to put out a project in time.
That's a good idea.
Delay
Why
it.
would you tweet that and go, fucking this is... What a tweet. People are going to really love it.
Obviously, he just had that mindset of just like, we're passionate about the project.
We're so passionate about this. We've been doing this much work. And it's like, well, actually...
So I'm just for
not
context,
okay with that.
He did delete the tweet and put out a follow-up, a quote-unquote apology thing where he said, anyone knows me knows how passionate I am about the people that I work with. Earlier, I tweeted how proud I was of the effort and hours the team was putting in. That was wrong. We value passion and creativity, not long hours. I'm sorry to the team for coming across like this. That's not a fucking apology for a start.
No.
Yeah.
That's because he got found out.
That's a sorry that, that you don't agree.
So I'm sorry that you were offended by my tweet of things that are absolutely happening in my studio.
He is gaslighting all of us. He's gaslighting us.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, okay.
Douche.
Like you're right, Welsh. Like, and on what planet do you look at that tweet and you go, yeah, that's an acceptable thing for me to say out in today's environment with with all the labor union stuff.
Somebody that's been working 12 to 15 hours a day, 6 days a week.
You could literally just say everyone's passionate. Can't wait till it comes out. That's it.
Yeah, that's great. Like you don't have to it really came across like it was a dick measuring like alpha grind set. Like, yeah, we're super passionate and like, look. his and we've seen this before with crunch, right? Where some of these people, like it was with Rockstar with the houses, right? They came out and said, yeah, like the narrative. They had the tweet where they were like, oh, the narrative team was working on weekends and all that sort of stuff, and they're like, no, we. Like they clarified and said, no, we are working that because we're passionate. We don't force anyone to work. And he's basically said, we don't force anyone to do those hours. And it's like, that's not the point. Like if you've worked anywhere, and you know, if you've worked in any office and you've gotten to 5 o'clock and you're the only one who stands up to leave, and everyone else is still sitting there working for another hour, like, yeah, no one's forcing you to stick around, but holy shit, you're going to get passed up for promotions. You're going to get looked at. You're going to get talked about. Like that is a culture of crunch, not necessarily like it's even more insidious than saying, no, you have to do these extra hours or you have to do this unpaid overtime. People feel like they have to because their jobs are on the line or their livelihoods.
Can I just say, ever since starting work in this industry where I actually don't have to work 9 to 5 and it's pretty much a case of like, you just do the job. We're not worried about the hours. We just worry about the work getting done. It's such a life changes.
It changes how you work, right?
Yeah. I mean,
like,
that can go in the other direction, but
I mean, yeah, it can. But my case at the moment is positive.
Yeah.
But
So I think I talked about this a couple of weeks ago on the podcast as well, about how it's the environment that controls the crunch, right? And the people that are around you. Like my flatmate who normally she'll work from home, and when she works from home, she controls her hours, and so she's better at not working more than her 40 hours a week. But if she's going into the office, because everyone else in her team actively works longer hours, so they will be in from like say 7:30 and they will work until 5:30 or 6, and they're not meant to do that, but they just do it, and it's become the culture of that team. So she feels like she has to be there for the same time because they're all doing it, so it looks bad on me if I'm doing it. I'm like, no, you 100% should not have to work more than your 40 hours. Like, that's bullshit.
Yeah. It's literally
whatever
wasted.
they want to do. No. And like the whole big thing about quiet quitting is fantastic. I love this to pieces. Like I've just been made a team leader, and I'm very big on my team about leaving when they've done their work for the day. I'm like, no, go home. It's 4 o'clock. You've been here since 7. Fucking go home. Go home or I'll beat you. Like, leave. Like, I'm aggressively get the fuck out of work. You're not working now. You turn your computer off when you get home. You're not doing any more work today. So, and I as soon as I get home, I switch everything off. My work computer is off for the weekend. My work phone is off for the weekend. I'm not touching anything until Monday.
I remember
because I don't have to.
I remember working in retail where there was a point where, you know, there's other ways that fucking head office and all that, depending on like what industry you work, are just so tone deaf to those kind of situations sometimes. Like, for example,
because they don't see it from a retail level.
Store closes at 5 o'clock. I was just like, all right, cool. You got to do tills. You got to pack everything away. All that. By the time you get out,
and they
it's
won't
like,
pay you for the 15 minutes to close.
Yeah. So many times I'm just like, all right, cool. It's 4:55. We're shutting up.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like, all right, cool. If I get an angry call from my manager, it's going to be a case of like, well, you've been paying staff to 5 o'clock
you
so
put that
long.
into the gaming industry, and then because when is the work done?
Exactly.
Creative is always a hard thing too, because there's always
sorry, Welsh.
more.
So I was going back. We're going back to you, Cam. When you started in this, and it's become a positive aspect for you. The one thing that made me really quit factory work, retail work, all that bullshit, and start doing mainly YouTubing and shit, was bosses and shit trying to make you feel guilty for you.
It's a family. It's a team.
Yeah. When my daughter was born, so I don't know if it's different out in Australia, New Zealand, etc. But we get 2 weeks off. 2 weeks off when your kids are born.
Same.
Same shit. I booked an extra week off. The shit I got for that, for having 3 weeks off. Oh, work's your priority. What, minimum wage? Fucking bullshit. Where I got to stand for 10 hours a day, being miserable. Love that priority. Nah. So as soon as I've done this, like you said, Cam, life changes, doesn't it? Not always for the better, but if it works for the better. I've never been so happy.
Yeah, right.
I didn't work, so just quit your jobs. Get into gaming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just ride. I mean, again, I'm a massive socialist, so again, take my opinion with a grain of salt. But yeah, like I mean, like I again, and I don't always practice what I preach. I have to say, my work-life balance is not always the best. My job is quite is usually on my mind. I usually think about it a lot, and I do a lot of off-work thinking, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a me problem. But the thing is, like, you know, the company that I work at has a really good policy and really good management and project management about being like, no, we want to make sure that you are healthy individuals, because burned out people, because at the end of it is like a 12-hour grind set doesn't mean you get extra hours of quality work out of people. You're just burning them out and making them put out shit.
And often that's when mistakes happen or things don't get checked properly. And
exactly.
Who wants another Cyberpunk?
Yeah, no. Was it the 12-hour stream that we had the conversation of like all the effects on crunch and, you know, working over 40 hours a week? I
think so, yeah.
We've talked about it a few times. Yeah.
I mean, you even look at the
like
quality
the
of that 12-hour stream and how.
Yeah, that is a perfect example.
And then
like I'm just gonna finish this off too with my own point. I've been very open about my situation with daughter being like part-time dad. The moment that they basically with COVID and all that, my prior workplace didn't hire anybody because it was, you know, doing 200% of sales wasn't justification for hiring more staff. Yeah. Hell no. Because we didn't know if this was going to tail on in the future or anything. And I'm just like making the case in point. Your staff's burnt out. They're going to quit. They're overworked, etc. Yeah. Got to the point just like, well, you're the manager. We need you to work weekends. Even though you're getting time with your daughter now, you're going to have to give up your Saturdays. It's like, all right, cool. Here's my 2 weeks notice. Catch you later.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Always prioritize family. Always prioritize your life above work. You only need the means to live. That's it.
Yeah. And yeah, because they'll replace you in a second if they could.
Yeah.
And then last news story, I'm just going to basically read it out. Basically, Stalker and Atomic Heart have been delayed. So Stalker 2 has basically said that, they're looking like it's going to be 2023.
Now, I'm... With the Atomic Heart news, I haven't really looked into it that much other than I know it's delayed to next year with no set 2023 date.
So they said it's going to be Q1. So it'll be, I think they're looking...
Please don't be Feb. Please don't be Feb.
It'll probably be March.
Oh my God.
I'm thinking March.
That would be nice.
This is based on the Ukraine war as well, yeah?
Yeah, well, they've also got a new publisher, I think. They've got Focus Entertainment's now publishing it, so I think they've had some changes around, like, the scheduling, but they haven't said much about it. But again,
there's trailers out, and like I watched a new trailer recently, and it looks fucking good.
That gameplay one,
that gameplay one was amazing. What do you think, Welsh? I'm
on it. I don't mind them delaying it if it means that we're not going to get a glitchy, a cyberpunk. Isn't it mad that you every time you think of Cyberpunk now, you go back to you associate it with a glitchy, shit-filled mess.
Yeah,
that should have been delayed when it wasn't. I think that's kind of funny, right? That's now.
It's really the poster child for that.
I'm wondering if delays would have saved that though, because of how ambitious that project was.
There are other problems with that project as well, but
yeah, and like people would have been so much more pissed off that it was delayed, whereas now we're kind of expecting it. There kind of needed to be a scapegoat in there that took the fall for, we released this way too early. There were way too many problems. So many other things were going wrong. Okay, now everybody else after that is like,
delays. Yes, we'll delay it. We're just going to delay the game.
We've had COVID. We've had everything else. Yeah. Like we can use Cyberpunk, for example, but I think we've just reached a point in time too where there's so many I don't want to say crises going on, but there's so much world, impact that games aren't the most important thing at the end of the day.
I mean, I don't necessarily agree, but but no, I seriously, I agree.
Going to the Stalker 2 one, I find it interesting because, to preface it, it's been reportedly delayed. Xbox is refunding pre-orders, and everybody's reaction from this is just like, understand the devs and all that kind of stuff. Without looking into it further, this is a common practice for Xbox to do if there's no set release date with pre-orders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to mention that specifically because I've listened to a few other podcasts and that hasn't been mentioned, and I think that's a very good point.
So now they just don't have a release date basically anymore.
This isn't the case of like Ukraine's messed everything up. We don't know when it's coming out in the future. I mean, that's kind of is true, but it is also the case of they're not refunding the game because it's never going to come to Xbox or anything like that. They're refunding it too because people have made a financial commitment to this game and they don't have a set release date, and that's common practice in the industry especially for Xbox. I'm not sure about Sony.
And they don't know where the dollar is going to be anyway by the time the game comes out, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's true too.
All right.
Cool.
I was going to say the other... Oh, didn't I not put the...
No, you don't worry, but we'll just...
That's
the
only 3.
I was just going to say about the Cyberpunk thing quickly. Cyberpunk DLC not coming to Xbox One.
Yeah.
Get refunds as well. Like I was going to tie in that with that, but...
Yeah,
cool.
Not the best, but it kind of doesn't. I'm not surprised considering those were the most broken versions of the game.
Yeah.
Do we want to just get straight into what we've been playing?
I think so.
Let's go for it.
So I'll go first. So I ran through Tinykin. Fantastic, love that game.
Game of the year.
Definitely not game of the year, but it was good.
One of my games of the year.
It was good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It is a super chill platformer, like Cameron said. Massive collectathon, which I'm usually fine with. It just needs some sort of collectible detector once you hit 90% or something.
It needed Psychonauts 2 quality life patch.
Exactly, just something that just point you in the right direction at least.
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask. That quality of life patch was.
Yeah, it needs something like that because it's like I enjoyed every time I was playing through that game. I was like, man, this is going to be a fucking pain in the ass to clean up. And I was like, I managed to get all the collectibles on a few of the levels just naturally, and I was like, thank fuck for that. But I still like half the levels I had to basically comb over and try and finish. Especially ones looking for how many Tinykins, because again, there's no indication of what level they might be in.
It never overstayed its welcome, though.
No, it was good. It was good. Like in terms of length of the game,
it was good.
It was good. I enjoyed it.
Too long.
Yeah. Story-wise, whatever. It's cute. I also did Skateboard, which is leaving Game Pass. It's a meme game.
It's unbearable.
You're a bird on a skateboard. It's fine. It's like as long as you got the cheats on, as you got the assists on. It's just mindless skateboarding and a couple of jokes about some birds. Tony Hawk joke in there.
I kind of loved one of the I got sent a picture of one of the birds that Dio was playing as, and it was a penguin with 3D glasses on, a bow tie, and something in like a hat of some sort. And I went, he's very fancy.
Wait, is this an RPG?
No,
is this me collecting different items?
You could dress your character up ridiculously.
You can dress them up.
I was a raven.
And you can choose what bird you play as.
Yeah, I was playing as a raven with a space helmet on and a bow tie. It was good. And yeah, it's pretty painless. You basically just if you grab all the collectibles, you'll be fine. You just do all the missions. It's pretty straightforward. I got a bit more into Bugsnax. Still enjoying that. It's good. It's not great. I think that so far it's I don't know. I've still got like 3 or more areas to go, so I still want to kind of see a bit more of it. And I haven't even caught like half of the Bugsnax yet, so I'll sort of reserve judgment towards the end of it. But it's interesting. I like it. It's cute. It's very cute. In terms of having a
bugger.
Yeah, burger just going bunger, and then this, I'm always interested to see the cute names that come up for stuff. Like there's a honeybee, and just goes honeybee. I'm like, oh, it's adorable. I love it.
It's literally Pokemon at the end where they just run out of Trubbish, that fucking Pokemon who's the rubbish bag.
Yeah, and there's a washing machine Pokemon.
Yeah, there's one that's a set of keys.
Yeah,
exactly. It's I don't know. I mean, I was a little bit disappointed when I found out they were oh yeah, we just kind of reskinned a lot of them. I was like, oh, guys, could you not have you could have kept it to 40 and just had 40 unique ones and just had them be interesting. But it's I've already encountered ones where it's okay, I found one was a cheese poof, which is it's a moth, but it's a cheese moth. And it's if you go at night, you get a white cheddar one. And I was okay, oh, fine, But it's good. It's very cute. It's very twee. There's kind of an interesting kind of dark, there's a little bit of a dark undertone of something kind of
dark.
Something going on that I haven't quite figured out. Also, a lot of relationship issues in that game. Especially the guy who's yeah, my wife left me, so I made a a cactus version of her and put one of her hats on her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now I've done the game. I've done a full guide
Yeah.
for it as well. So you'll have
Plug.
there's a lot of
Plug.
stuff on,
Yeah, I'll check it out.
which I'll put everything, every link to the.
Mm-hmm.
No, but there's a lot of like achievements to get. There's a lot going on, really. Yeah, but let's just say there are some happy endings. But the actual ending, when you realise what's going on, I didn't expect it. Normally, you can see endings from a mile off, can't you? But this was just like the thick.
Yeah, I heard some very strange, interesting games. So, like, again, I'm definitely going to play more of it. It's on Game Pass, and it was one of those things where it's like I just started it, and I was like, oh, I want something a bit, 20 to 30 hour completion. That sounds good.
Yeah.
So
And I
we're
do know that Mike used your guide as well, so.
Oh, great.
Well, yeah, Welsh is good.
I also I got peer pressured into starting Axiom Verge.
You did get peer pressure
by
into that.
Reptar over on Just Jake over on AHA.
Yep.
He was like, hey, I just finished this game, it's great, you should play it. And I was like, it's been in my backlog. He's like, you need to do it now. It's like, fine. Downloaded it. Metroidvania, side-scrolling, sort of 16-bit art style. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. It's got, again, heaps of secrets, heaps of like collectible stuff, look around the map, fight off bunch of bosses, interesting stuff. So I did my first run through in the game, 100%, got all the collectibles, all the weapons, a lot of weapons in this game. Like I think it was like 15 different guns you get in the game, and they all do something slightly different. I was like very surprised. It's good. It's a little bit tough. I played it on hard, did like a no death playthrough, which again I cheesed every time I just quit out and reloaded a save or whatever. Took me about 9 hours to do, and then I've got to do a speed run. Definitely recommend it if you haven't played it, but again, I'm way late on this one. I think it came out like 7 years ago or something, so I'm sure most people have already played it. But if you like Metroidvanias, it's kind of it's a love letter to them. They obviously like a real reverence for the genre. And then I also started a Zero Time Dilemma, which I won from the Bounty Hunter Challenge. So it's the third in the Zero Escape series. I am still playing through it, and given that it's a narrative game, I will talk more about it probably next week once I've actually finished it. But I started it like last night or something, yesterday or whenever, and I put like 11 hours into it already. I'm deep into this shit, and I need to know what the fuck's going on because none of it makes any fucking sense. And that's saying something considering it's the third in the series. But yeah, I'm super into it. Anyway, that's me. So yeah, just kind of bits and pieces there. Oh, and I did Peppa Pig. Because I got my just
Peppa Pig.
Yep, did that for my 2.1 million. So
yes,
enjoyable experience.
No, it was not. It was not. But Cameron, speaking of not enjoyable experiences, what have you been working on?
Wow. Yeah, so I've played Tunica and really enjoyed that. Finished up the rest of that. Definitely recommend it. In no particular order, I did Sea of Thieves this week for the Game on Cancer stream. Pretty like I'm not going to achievement hunt this game or anything, but just diving in with Morgan, with Nubis, and with Miss Cannon was pretty good. We decided to lock Morgan in the Morgan's never played Sea of Thieves, so it was a case of like, oh, cute little pig, let's chase a cute little pig around. Also, that the fact they added pets. Mm-hmm. Cool. Anubis has like this cool little wolf, so she was just chasing around. She was chasing around the pigs. She was chasing around the wolf and just picking it up. That's all her interest was. We were just doing quests. When we went to the island and found the pigs, we're just like, all right, cool. Let's chase the pigs around for a little bit. Then we decide to kill the pigs, which gives a pork chop in front of her. So she immediately just starts complaining about it.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
To which we all decide to lock her in the brink and then eat pork chops around her.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's... Yeah.
I mean, like, what are you going to do with your part, yeah?
I mean, definitely not suffer any vegans, that's for sure, apparently.
Really, like, it's an enjoyable game, but I just go back to the fact that discontinued achievements that don't need to be there, they could do something about it. For something that's like the biggest new IP of the Xbox One, there should be more care on that. But yeah, still an enjoyable game. It's just not achievement hunting friendly. The Extent, been going with that with Keon Lee. There's not really much else to say other than still having the same audio issues that I did back a year ago. The only thing I really wish this game like had fixed, like post content updates was the leveling. It's very much designed as a hard game where you're just dying against bosses and that to level up.
Right.
Whereas then I think this should just be a story-based experience where, you die a few times without, but not every 3 or 4 deaths on a boss to, get to the next stage kind of thing.
Because it's very a very heavy focus on looting and shooting, right?
Yeah.
That's
Lee's level 35, and going me and Kia are probably a level 17, and just going through with him has been an absolute breeze. It's still, the combat's hard enough to still be enjoyable, but then he's just able to we're still going down. He revives us. It's still enjoyable in that aspect. And I'm really keen to check out whether the DLC does balancing a bit better. But I feel like this is one of those games that's eventually going to leave Game Pass.
I'm keeping an eye on it.
Yeah. Now, the main 3 I want to talk about is I went out and did the good old EB Games rent situation and got the Cowabunga collection for $70, mind you. First things first, free controllers, me and Nikita and Persephone on guard mode played Turtles in Time. I went I don't want to worry about the achievements for a minute. I want to see what all the hype is around Turtles in Time because, N64 was my first console. Never played any of these original Turtles games. I want to see what the hype is. Turtles in Time is fantastic.
Good game.
It is a really good game from that era. I know that a lot of the reviews, the online matchmaking's been pretty average at best. But just as a couch co-op experience, chuck on God mode because Persephone's only 3 years old, pass the controller, she can do as she wants, do a few punches, get her hyped up, just oh, you're the orange turtle, what are you going to do? What are you going to, that kind of situation. Get her into it. And then because, she's not taking hits, she's finding it fun, enjoyable. Boss comes up, it's oh, it's Splinter, that kind of stuff. So much to the point of all right, we probably played 2 hours with her, and this was pretty much a case of I'll put the controller, she'll put the controller down, she'll go play with Bluey's Toys or whatever, she'll come back in 5 minutes, do that. So we kept the third controller connected and kept on just push along, because it was worth it. But we had so much fun with it that we're just let's watch the new animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie that came out.
Cool.
Which has Ben Schwartz, one of our favourite video game voice actors in it as well, playing Casey Jones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Younger Casey Jones that goes back in time from the future. I do not understand the whole TMNT lore. I've got no idea. Really enjoyable experience, so whiffed Turtles in Time. The only problem is a lot of these games don't hold, especially the Game Boy games. They just don't hold up. Very much similar to the Atari Arcade Collection, where you can watch the devs play, cut in at the right moment, and get the achievements then. So each of the main game achievements, 2 minutes, easy done. Then the tournament fighters ones, it is constantly save, playing hardest difficulty, save, quit, save, quit, save, quit. Trying to get that upper hand. You're using April for one of them because she's got a really cheap kick to get done, and then it's just constantly doing that. I probably spent good 2 to 2.5 hours on that. So all up 4.5 hours. But easy, 10 achievements will come within 15 to 20 minutes, and then the rest is just going to be tournament fighters. But I'd definitely recommend playing Turtles in Time or something in there to really make the experience enjoyable. And I mean, it is a game that you can get in a day, so return it. don't keep a $70 game. Other one I want to mention, Curse to Golf. Cute little indie game that has kind of flown under the radar this week. Essentially, it's just a golf game, but a dungeon crawler, 2D dungeon crawler, where it's, I want to say your what's a good example of it? Your Mario kind of pipes levels and all that. It's golf. You're hitting the golf ball to hit down and all that. You've got specific cards that add special effects, blow up TNT. that kind of stuff. And it's just trying to get to the end of the with par.
Oh,
Like you're just trying to hit par, because par is like, if you don't hit par, you're dead. You die on that hole.
Right. Okay.
I played this on stream pretending it was Keo, because Keo was in the party. Keo, well-renowned golfer, Keo, if he's still in chat. And it was just a really chill experience. It's just a simple game, like a really simple concept. Doesn't overstay its welcome. The only negative thing I have to say about the achievements is I think it's like 71 gamer score, like 74 gamer score kind of thing. So, I mean, if you want, use it to fix up your
Oh, we hate that.
score.
I mean, as long as you finish the game, it doesn't matter.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it's fine.
completable, so it's fun. And the last game I want to talk about is Destroy All Humans 2, which I've spent most of my time with this week. I was lucky to be gifted a code from PlayOn, which was... they recently just changed the name to PlayOn. They were originally Koch Media. It's been great. I went into Destroy... I played the original games. I didn't do massively much time in them. I did a few hours on the first one here and there, back in the day, but that was it. Went in, no hype, no expectations, just I just want to, chill out, see how it is. First level, with the telekinesis, throwing people, with the bouncing, there's a gun that makes, dislocator, which is essentially just making things bounce up and down. The physics on it is so, it is so stupid, so amazing. And I, that first hour was just all right, cool. Yeet! Just, so simple. But, messing around physics, it was just, amazing. The humor is very not PC, which is interesting.
The first game was like that too, right?
Yeah.
It was like, oh boy, this is interesting. Yeah,
Which
I
is
love
fine.
it. I love it.
It's, I don't know whether that's... I'm having a hard time placing the nostalgia. Because there is
it's early 2000s nostalgia, right? It's
this feels like, I don't mean this in a negative way, this feels like a PS2 game.
Yeah.
And I mean PS2 game in the way of it's an open kind of sandbox, open-ish sandbox where you can mess around with the physics, you can have fun with it, there's collectibles. It's, that 20 to 25 hour experience. The humor in it's great to a point. It got to halfway where I'm okay, I get it, yeah? I get the jokes, I get the, I can flirt with the Soviet spy. That's fine. I'm just gonna leave it there, yeah? But, the only negative thing I have to say about the game is some of the some of the gameplay mechanics took me a little bit to pick up. Button mashing Y to get your health back in the saucer seemed weird, because I'm just I keep on dying on these boss, these really amazing looking boss battles, and I don't know what I'm messing up, and I actually had to look up a guide no, you need to button mash Y to actually get your health back, and once I did that it was fine. But yeah, other than that, good. It doesn't overstay its welcome too much. There's only 5 levels, but they're decent open world experiences where you can mess around with stuff. You can there's enough content there to keep going for a bit.
I'm definitely interested to check it out.
Better than number 1, or is it?
Well, I haven't played too much of number 1. I dived it, but the only reason I've played so much heavily on 2 is because I got a review code to check it out. So I've left it thinking no, actually I'm going to go back and I'm going to do the multiplayer game that came back in April or March. Which has fallen under everybody's radar. I have not heard anybody talk about Clone Carnage. I'm going to go back to the Xbox 360 not compatible Path of the Furon game.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to do both stacks of Destroy All Humans 1. The good thing about this one is you don't have to worry about the challenges. You're only worrying about optional objectives. And I feel like they've swapped out the challenges for a thing called Skate, which is essentially just holding B to bring out a hoverboard and traveling around the map faster. There's a few...
Yeah, that's in the first game as well.
Oh, it is? Okay, then, there's no challenges in the second. So then...
Great. That's perfect because that's the kind of the sticking point for the first games. Like I love the first game, but the challenges, some of those
Challenges for them.
some of those abduction challenges are so like the razor thin of how many you need to grab.
The one in the army base is the one that got me for the first one. That flew me.
That one took me a few tries. The one in the Union City where it's like you gotta throw them into the beam, but they gotta be alive. And it's like I used to just like fucking blast them and then pick up the bodies. And I was like, no, they gotta be alive and they gotta go stop them from running away. And they were gonna be doing their bad
that's annoying.
accent.
Like the physics with it is so fun though. I had somebody comment on my going live tweet last night. They did a really good job in the remake of the scenery, but what disappointed me was that the CG in the original version was not retained and was replaced by pictures. It was obvious that they were in a hurry to finish the project. I don't like. Is he referring to 1 or 2 then? Like,
no, it'd be 2 because 1 had all the original cutscenes. Well, one they redid all the cutscenes, I believe.
Okay, because I haven't really noticed it in 2. So, yeah, I don't know. Keep that in mind, but I don't think it's a problem. I think just in terms of like anything that I have control over physics, like I loved Heroes Reborn Gemini, for example, just because you could like phase things in and out and all that. I really like those, like that level of physics in video games. It's something just like, it's like not ragdoll, but you can make it ragdoll, just like go yeet, like just like right stage yeet.
The ragdoll physics is pretty cool.
Yeah, I just love being able to do that in games. I don't like. It's the most basic like human urge for me to just go like, all right, I have all this power, just like catch you later off the side of the bridge. And there's an achievement for that. The London level, you bring up you carry a human all the way up, and then you just drop them off the side of the bridge just by canceling it. Like it's great.
No.
I got like 10 achievements. I just need to finish up like challenges. Like the side missions. But like I don't have to worry about the optional objectives. Yeah. I'd say this is probably like a good 7.5 out of 10 kind of game.
Cool. Check it out.
Yeah. And 3,000 for the week.
Welsh, anything you've been working on recently?
Oh, all types of shit, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning. I was finishing up a guide for Doctor Who: The Lonely Assassins.
Oh yes, I've done that one. Yep.
So I for some reason totally glossed over the fact they were Doctor Who games.
Yeah.
Because there's The Edge of Reality as well.
There's a few different ones, right?
So,
There's 2
there's a few.
yeah, I didn't even realise. So I've done that this morning. So I'm hanging now. Obviously Tinykin. We've all done Tinykin. Space Science Investigations, which is another free game from NASA.
The NASA one, yeah. That looks
Who
NASA
would have
brought out a
thought
game.
that NASA would become a dev and publisher?
We love NASA.
Because they've done the first game, which is called To the Moon and Beyond, which was
the card
it's
one.
like a card game.
Oh, yeah.
That's not my thing. So I've had people asking about guides and stuff, but not really. That's not my kind of thing.
It's all RNG anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. And you haven't got time to be pissed off because something, you're waiting for about 10 hours for one thing to pop up. But no, done that. It's only half hour. That was a easy enough game. Free, so you can't beat free.
Yeah.
Who's your daddy?
Hey, I've got to get that done. Actually.
So there's another title update. So the second title update. So the achievements. Sorry, Cam. You saying?
Fucking title update. That one with the baby powder.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to refer to.
Oh, yeah.
So what happened
heard
with
about this.
Yeah, what happened with that?
I've heard about what happened, Cameron.
So I got the other 2 achievements easy. That was fine. I was just doing like the solo, like 2 controllers method to get things going, yeah? Got the baby powder. I was tipping out. It was like, why is it not working? Kept on doing it. It spent like an hour, and then Kirby was in the party at the same time. Mike was in the party, and we're just like, I just can't get it working. Kirby's like, I get it like in 2 seconds. Like, what are you talking about? Mm-hmm. Kirby tries to join and all that, just like, couldn't get it working. Force quit the game, relaunched the game, went to the baby powder, immediately tips a white line, find powder, get the achievement in 2 seconds.
Yep.
Fucking glitchy games, I tell you.
This is like me trying to do the drinking the bleach achievement, and I could not get it. It would not pop. It was literally not popping, and I had restarted the game, turn it on, turn it off. I had done it in multiplayer, done it off multiplayer. I had tried everything. I think in the end, I ended up having to go onto a different Xbox, drink it twice, and got it. And I was like, "You fucking kidding me?"
Fucking
Like,
knobheads.
yeah. So I've still got to do that title update.
Yeah, this one's easy. I don't think I didn't have any problems with it, but again, this is big advice for anyone who may be struggling with a baby. Don't play this game. So don't throw your baby in the bath or the sink with a toaster. Don't do that.
It's not a user guide. It's a stress ball.
So for yourself.
It's not a user guide. It's a stress ball.
Exactly. So so don't stick any powder up your baby's nose. Don't throw them in a sink with a toaster.
Don't allow them to drink bleach.
Bleach. Well, I mean, gin tastes the same as bleach, so.
Oh yeah,
no.
They're allowed to get into daddy's drink.
That's fine. Don't throw your baby into a freezer and leave it in there.
Don't put them in the oven and then eat them.
Nope. That's a big no-no. Maybe some parts of the world.
They frown upon that usually. You get a lot of questions.
I mean, we are not meerkats as parents. We don't send our children out onto the road to check that it's safe to cross because we can make more of them.
Wow.
See? Yeah, it's easy. I can't. Whatever tool I used for making babies is now gone. It was a homemade job. I ain't making no more. Like that.
Now you just draw them, right?
It's out of print.
Exactly. You just talk about them every time they release a new title update. That's as far as my baby making skills go now. Done. Hooray! But Cam, having a second kid, mate, great. Honestly, you'll enjoy it. Honestly.
You have a second
In a few years.
Yeah, in a few years. In a few years.
We're gonna give enough time. We're gonna get another one so then they can start singing to Charlotte on stream.
Oh, perfect! I'm in for this. I loved that. That was the most fantastic thing ever. That made me so happy.
Just like, why is he sending me a voicemail? And just like, for us, oh, I love you, Charlotte.
I'm crying on stream. The small child has sent me a voice message saying they love me.
Anything else, Wash?
Moving on, apart from killing babies. There was a game called Lord Winklebottom Investigates, which is very British, point-and-click adventure. Yeah, which is very, very British. Obviously, the Danganronpa series as well. Coffee Talk when that came about. Couple of easy 10-minute, baby games as well. Got to get them views. Got to get the money in. My energy bills are going up, so got to get them cheeky views in. Look,
Gotta get them.
Kicking my ass. British bastards. So yeah, just a couple of them. But that's about it. It's been a kind of quiet couple of weeks. I had to redo the Chicken Police achievement guide as well. Because the guides, the devs went, right, here's the guide, here's the game. Actually, what we're going to do is change a lot of questions. I got so much hate for the first guide. And I know, because obviously they changed so much that they were going, that's wrong. You're not bad, that's you. Well, we're fucking leaving it, because I got it.
Yeah, I'm literally recording it. What do you want me to do?
I'm fixing it, okay?
Yeah.
Please don't cancel me again. Which I've got to say now in every video. That's like a warning now. If I make a joke about something,
please don't cancel me.
You have like a little pop up on the screen to be,
I'm gonna
joke, like real big.
I can joke about something and people will go, "Wow, that's hilarious," but then I made a joke about something about OnlyFans. Nothing bad, just don't fall on the spikes because you haven't got a camera ready for OnlyFans. Don't stick a spike up your ass because you're not ready.
Perfect.
Oh, I didn't know. No, that wasn't funny according to I assume someone who is already off OnlyFans. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Can't help it.
That was a good joke. That was quality.
Okay, I'm not gonna. What's the right word for this?
Uh-huh.
It's funny. Like when your tweets come up, there are some certain people that do OnlyFans on my timeline. I'm not interested in their OnlyFans. I'm gonna preface that saying. Digging myself fucking holy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Cameron, you know when you have the shovel, you just keep digging it.
Where are we going with this?
There's some people on Twitter that I see that do OnlyFans and also do gaming content. I'm interested in the gaming content. I noticed that quite a few of them follows Welsh Hunter's guides.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can think of one off the top of my head, but I'm not going to say.
I can think of one off the top of my head too.
Bunny?
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bunny.
You weren't going to say names. Literally said you weren't gonna say names.
We're not saying anything else.
We're not saying the full name. We're just saying Bunny.
Moving
Moving
swiftly on. Charlotte, have you played anything this week?
Yeah. Three things. I got 2 completions this week.
Good job.
So I got my completion for Boyfriend Dungeon because it got fixed.
I need to go back to
It got fixed. So I got it the very next day. Super easy, like I thought. Literally had to go into the dungeon once, went to one level, went into one room, got the missing piece, popped the achievement, went back out of the dungeon, went into my house and created it and done.
Nice work.
It took
Nice.
literally 30 seconds to fix. Yeah.
And did you
so
message the
that's-
devs and say, can you please add it to Game Pass?
No.
No, okay.
No.
So many people are so
I liked
salty.
that game.
They
And
were.
I had it bought for me because my boyfriend owed me a game and he knew how much I loved that game.
It's a good game.
It's a good game. I love it. And I'm quite happy to have it bought for me because I would happily have it for later because if there's more content coming, I'll play it. I love that game. Like, the only part about that game that I did not like is that fucking
The bug race.
bug race.
I remember seeing the PAX 2019 and thought, like, how cool of a concept it was. Like,
It's such a great idea. I love it. But I also like the dungeon crawlers and the roguelites. So, that's probably why I'm more into gameplay than anything else, and I don't give a shit about story.
Matt's mind. It's not Hades.
It's definitely not Hades.
It's not Hades. No, it is not. I appreciate it for what it was.
Yeah.
Just like I liked Kraken Academy for what it was. I thought it was fucking funny.
Yeah, see,
So-
Matt has a habit on coming on the podcast and just dissing on things that we love.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
because you guys
also,
have shit standards. No, I'm kidding. But
Oh,
I don't
Oh,
like
oh,
Zero
yeah.
Time Escape.
it's fine.
that's
It's
fine.
fine.
You don't have
Okay.
to. It's a visual novel. I can understand that.
Yeah.
There's
So,
no game.
I also do a visual novel.
Mhm.
So
Which one?
I did Vampire the Masquerade: Shadows of New York.
Okay, that was
fine.
not too bad
Yeah.
actually. That
It's
one's
not
that's
too
not
bad.
bad.
It's actually alright.
It was
kind of
one
interesting
those-
actually. Did you actually read it or did you literally sit through
Well,
the
okay, I did an hour and a half.
Oh, okay.
That's how long it
that's-
took me.
that's
Whereas
not too-
the average is half an hour. So,
Yeah.
um,
Read
I did for the most part. There were parts that I was like, I'm gonna skip through this bit, but for the most part, I did read it and pay attention. But yes, I did that one, and then the other one I've still been working on that I'm going to continue to work on until I've got it completed in the next couple of days is A Plague Tale, in a sense. I'm literally doing cleanup now. Like, it's just, I think this is my working list. If it'll, come on. No.
Not safe for work,
look.
blurred.
You can't see. Anyway, I've got some curiosities and gifts to clean up and a couple of flowers and stuff. And there's like 2 miscellaneous achievements that I need to fix. Because I got halfway through and I was following it meticulously and doing everything as per the TA guide. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then I just was like, fuck, I can't be fucked reading this much shit. Because you have to read ahead and then go. And it was the
That
only
is
guide
how
I was
guides work,
given.
yeah.
I hate it.
Fuck off.
I hate it too.
But I can't do that. My ADHD does not cooperate with that. So this is why it's been taking me so long to get this game complete. It's literally probably going on about 6 months of me playing this game.
Are you gonna do the stack?
No.
Okay.
excuse me. I won't have time. I just
We
won't have time.
we own the stack.
Yeah, so you could do, but you don't need to.
Okay, well, I might think about it then. If we own the stack, I might do it. Yeah. I like the story. I like the gameplay. There's only parts of it that I feel it escalates really quickly with difficulty level. And I don't know if it's just I'm just dumb or it's just it's not compatible with me. But I got to the last chapter, the second to last chapter, and I was getting real untitled, and like to the point where after I left the party, 2 people messaged me and be like, "It's okay, you can do this," and I'm like,
it's the part with the cart, right, where you gotta.
Oh fuck that cart!
Gotta push the carriage.
The problem was that every time I'd try to aim and I had it lined up and I was like ready to go and like use the sling to hit them and kill them. Then the very next one, the timing was off or something, and I just was not getting it right, and they'd get too close to me, and then I had nothing. There was no, because you don't have any close combat melee weapons or anything like that, so you have to do it when they're away from you. As soon as they get too close, you're fucked. And that kept happening to me, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I kept getting shot by arrows because I was in the slightly wrong place. I managed to get that one little section complete on sheer accident. I am not even kidding you. I wish that I had clipped the video of it because, just honestly, I got right to the end, and like 2 times before that, I got right to the end, and then an arrow would hit me and I'd die. And I'd be like, fuck's sake. This time round, I still got hit with an arrow, but whatever second of luck that I had, the cutscene triggered. So I'm in the cutscene with an arrow sticking out of my chest. And it still moves on to the next part of the story. And I was like, holy fucking shit. Oh, how did I even pull that off? But I managed to get through it. And I've completed the whole story and completed the game. And yeah, now it's just clean up. Yeah, just clean up. So I'm getting there, and I'm going to use the little glitch that still is available to do in chapter 10. The only downside is I have to clean up a little bit on the couple of chapters beforehand to get enough equipment to do the glitch. Because I run out 2 before I get all of them full. And then as soon as I've done that, that's the completion done for this week. And then I think I'm probably going to start something new. And I think I'm probably going to start Immortality.
I'm interested to see.
Just don't stream it.
Because it's been fixed. I'm not streaming it. It's not going to be streamed. It's going to be done.
Lots of nudity.
Yeah, so the one that I'm doing... So the only ones I'm streaming at the moment is Cult of the Lambs. Cult of the Lamb. My Cult of the Booty. And that is currently my PC version. So I do need to clean up the Xbox version. But again, I freaking love this game.
Like, I just want the patch to go through certification already. So close to having completion done.
Yeah, you'll get there. They're working really hard on it too. So
yeah.
I mean, Immortality.
I think every other platform's done it. Are you making a guide for Immortality, Welsh? David asks.
You've been asked.
Yes, I will be. That'll be my next game, actually. I was waiting until the glitch got patched.
I thought you were debating how big to do the black bars.
It's been fixed. That's the only reason I am actually starting it now, is that it has been fixed.
Yeah.
The glitch has been fixed.
Yeah.
So that is next week's game.
I will probably be waiting for the guide because I'm interested in it, but it also looks like it'll be one of those annoying cleanup ones.
Yeah.
It is going to be an annoying cleanup one.
I thought it was going to be as easy as the last 2. The telling lies and...
Her story.
Yeah.
Yeah, her story. But it's apparently, he decided to...
No, it's a bit longer than that. Bit longer than those 2, but I'm still going to do it because I want to. Then there's another one that's just piqued my interest. Beacon Pines.
Yeah.
Which looks super fucking cute. I'm like, I'm in.
That's 22nd September?
Yeah, I think a couple of weeks from now. Yeah.
Yeah, so a couple of weeks. 23rd of September.
Okay, day off, yeah.
Fellow traveller. is the publisher and Hiding Spot is the developer.
Which reminds me,
but-
we skipped the Game Pass stuff as well.
Yeah,
We
I know.
did, that's
I
fine.
did intentionally, yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're well over.
We're way over
Beacon
time,
Pines is a
Cameron.
cute and creepy adventure game. Sneak out late, make new friends, uncover hidden truths, and collect words that will change the course of fate. The art style looks fantastic. I'm in. That's me.
Mm.
Yeah, cool. That's me. I think
Oh,
I've
yeah.
done like 1,000 something.
Oh, it's pretty good.
1,600, I think.
And a couple of
1,300.
completions
There you
to
go.
boot. That's great.
Yeah.
All
Do we
right.
want to quickly do leaderboard and then?
Yeah, if you got the leaderboard stuff.
Yeah, I do. It's ready. So no surprises here. Two of them, like two of the people in the top three are the same as ever. So we have third place Thrash Forever with 8,270. In second place we have MC Panda Gamers. Panda with 22,985
In a fucking week.
in a week.
Hmm.
Wait till you hear number one. In first place, we have Vulgar Latin with 47,870.
I wouldn't know where to find 47,000 gamer score if my life depended on it.
What's Volga's current gamer score in total?
I can find out. Give me 2 seconds. 1.2 million.
Yeah, okay.
It's got a decent amount to work with, but that's still a high number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
There you go.
And then I'll just quickly go through the word challenge. If you don't know what that is, you can hit us up on Discord, discord.io/Hall of Gamers. Basically, I put in a game. You got to guess what it is. Put the title in, and if you get it right, a gift shows up, and you win $20. Simple as that. $20 Australian.
Thank you.
Yes. Dollary dues.
Glory days.
So the first clue was that this game has a single DLC with achievements. So it might have other DLCs, but it has one DLC in particular that has achievements. The second clue is that it's developed and published by the same company. So, like for an example, like if it was like an Xbox Studios game published by Xbox Studios, that's kind of what I'm talking about there. Where it's like if you go on TA, the publisher and the developer are the same name. So that should narrow it down a little bit, but won't make it super easy to search. So you have to do some digging. But good luck to everyone. And we'll see what your guesses are in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, you can hit us up on Discord. Discord.io/Hall of Gamers is the place to come and say hi. Cameron, Patreon stuff?
Yep. Give me 2 seconds. All right. So our patrons, we want to thank Mikkel, Chapters, Natalator, Firehawk, Mad Lefty, G Spaceman, Admiral Awesome, Odron, Keo, Happy Moogles, Kung Fu Skills, Hack and Pone, Cavalier 07, Old Man Clown, Mark B, and Nick Love and Legend.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys. Without your support, we literally wouldn't be able to do the show. And all that money helps pay for giveaways and hosting and equipment and all that kind of stuff. So we greatly appreciate it. And as always, you can come see us live on Twitch, Hall of Gamers Pod. We do the show live every week. So come say hi, ask questions in the chat, shit post, whatever it is. And if you want to contact us in other ways, Hall of Gamers Podcast @gmail.com is our email, or we're on Twitter at Hall of Gamers Pod. Subscribe to us on your platform of choice. Leave us a review. Word of mouth is huge for us, as always. Again, if you've listened this far on the podcast, you know how podcasts work. And that's going to wrap up episode 53 of the Hall of Gamers podcast. Thank you to my co-host and wonderful guest. Thank you, Welsh, for joining us again. We greatly appreciate it.
No
We're going to show each other's locations of where you can find us.
Yes, I'm about to. Yes, I was going to say, I was going to get our guest to do it first, considering he was nice enough to show up. So Welsh, if people want to find you, what's the what are the dates?
Right. You can find me on OnlyFans.com. Wrong one. Sorry.
Yeah, hang on.
Sorry, wrong one.
Hang on. That was Mike on the time.
No one heard that. What, huh?
No, I said only hands.
Only
Han
hands.
Solo.
Okay,
yeah.
Yeah. They're totally different. Yeah.
No, obviously YouTube, Welsh Hunter, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Patreon as well. And I've got to say a big shout out to everyone who literally continues to support me on Patreon. It still baffles me how people give me money to talk shit. I'm like, it's grande.
It's great, right?
So, no, big shout out to everyone there. So that's where you can find me.
Fantastic.
If you need me.
Oh, and I'm sure they will. You do some fantastic guys. Cameron, what are you up to?
Shadowless Edge and pretty much everything. probably don't bug me for the next 2 months because I'm flat out.
Yeah, fair. Fair.
I have to carry 100 small ducks to Melbourne.
100.
100.
Sorry, 102. 102.
102. Okay. Right.
Sorry,
Can you
100
save me
small
one?
ducks, 2 big ducks.
Right.
Can you save me a small one?
$15.
Done.
Done.
A big one, fried.
They actually, yeah, I'll share what they look like. They actually look pretty cool.
They are really cute. I want a small one. I'm like in for the small one. I'm done. Me, you can find me on Twitch 2 to 3 times a week. Charmandosaurus_Rex. On Twitter, I am AudreyChar. On Instagram, I'm AudreyChar. On Xbox, I am AudreyChar. Done. Just don't talk to me though. I don't want people to talk to me.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, just show up and subscribe and just stay silent. And as always, I'm Neomaster on everything. True Achievements, Xbox, and Discord. Hit me up if you. I don't know why the fuck you would, but you can. My DMs are open. That's gonna wrap up episode 53. We will catch you guys next week. See you later.
Love you guys.
Bye.